do a quick mic
We
check.
need some like Monday Night Football music going.
We need a lot of stuff.
What's going on here?
Sorry, man.
What have you been doing with your life?
What you been doing, Dad?
Nothing. Changing diapers.
Sitting with the baby all day?
That's right. That's what I do.
Maddox, oh, I'm sorry. Hey, slap those headsets on. Let's do a quick mic check. Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maddox is awesome.
Check. 1, 2. Hello. Cashion Wildcat TV.
Is the mic on for the
All right, let me, I haven't added this one. Check, 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 check. Impow.
Your business in front of thousands of potential customers. Talk about a win-win. Advertising packages start on this streaming station for less than $10 a game. Call 405-726-0835 or email adam@squirtle.com right now for more information.
Storm season is coming, people, and your first choice for roofing needs should be Rhino Roofing. Locally owned and operated, the Rhino specializes in all types of repair and replacement. Large scale, traditional, modern, unique roof lines, they can do it all. Protect your home and your family with the specialized services of Rhino Roofing. Visit our Facebook page today and make an appointment. Rhino Roofing is all the hype for any roof type.
I'm Todd Miller, and this is Grain & Grange, the coolest furniture store you've never heard of. Come see us.
Wiggins, Sewell, and Ogletree is dedicated to championing our clients through complicated and challenging litigations. We pride ourselves on a proven track record of success brought forth by fierce litigation skills. The lawyers and staff of our firm are dedicated to effective and personalized representation for every client who entrusts our service. Uncompromising integrity, unparalleled results. Call Wiggins, Sewell, and Ogletree, 405-232-1211. Gateway Realty is a mother-daughter team that has a heart for small-town life. Both Anita and Kelly were born and raised in Cashion and are still raising their families here. Their family homesteaded in Cashion in 1908, and it's been home ever since. Anita and Kelly know this town, love this town, and would love to help make this your home too. For a friendly face and trustworthy knowledge, call these hometown girls at 405-641-7388. Go Wildcats!
Cashion FBC is a church seeking to grow in Christ and our love for the body of Christ. With ministries from children to youth to adults, we strive to present the gospel in an engaging and meaningful way. Sunday school meets at 9:45 a.m. and worship starts at 11 a.m. Children and youth meet on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Please check our website at cashionfbc.org for more information, and we hope to see you this Sunday, located a half-mile east of Cashion.
Absolute Pools, Lawns, and Landscape is not your ordinary pool builder. From traditional to exotic and anything in between, our staff offers paramount quality and service through the entire design and build process. We provide service to the entire OKC metro and surrounding towns. So relax, knowing our team is wholeheartedly committed to building a trusting and lasting relationship with you. Visit us on Facebook or give us a call today at 405-285-9729. Absolute.
All right, welcome to another year, 2021, Cashion Wildcat TV. Thanks so much for joining us here for the 2021 preseason kickoff show. I'm Neiman Abavi, joining me here at the table. This is like in the deluxe part of the gym here is my man Chris Gibson. So, Chris, this is year 3 for us doing football, and we did the kickoff show, so we're doing it again. It was such a success last year. We're like, we got to do it again. But you excited?
You give the people what they want, Nima. That's what I've learned. I don't know if they want it or not, but we like doing it. So
we do like, and you guys have been great to following us. We had over 100,000 views during football season alone last year, and again, we always joke we think it's about us, but clearly following a fantastic team on a fantastic run last year, 16-0, made it extra special. And I think as we go through today, I think we might see some comments that might think it's a hashtag repeat might be a possibility, but. We appreciate you guys joining us here. We've got a great slate of guests. We're going to have our kind of, we won't call him our intern, but our OSU affiliate, Drew Baker. He's still not here yet. I think he was coming from a wedding, so we'll see what's happening. But we'll have lessons with Lane during the season, everything's going to be great as we move forward, but we're super proud that you guys are joining us here for the kickoff show. We're going to do a few things. We're going to break down we got to break down 2020, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, 16-0. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. We won't go really in depth because you could talk for 2 hours about that season. But yeah, you got to have a little bit of rundown on it.
You got to celebrate 16-0 historic run. It's certainly something we got to at least give a little bit of praise to. I mean, you got to give a shout out to history every once in a while. Can't live there, but got to say hello. We'll do a quick breakdown in some key plays and games. We'll work through returning and projected starters. We'll talk about key players, keys of the season. We'll walk through the schedule, and then we'll talk about all the great things that are involved with Cashion Wildcats TV, Squirtle TV. What a fantastic opportunity is. We've got Coach Shack and Coach Wood over here. They're making sure they're watching us that we don't say anything wrong. They'll come over here and yank the mic. But we're super pleased and happy. You want to talk about two coaches that have absolutely embraced Cashion Wildcats TV and have been fantastic to work with. It's been those two guys. So we'll have them. They'll drop some knowledge on you. You'll want to listen to that. And then we'll have Drew Baker, our Stillwater affiliate. He'll be back, and we'll have some player interviews just like we did last year to kind of wrap it up. They're doing senior pictures, so we'll see how that
Sneak
goes.
a few of the players
We'll
in
try
from
to
their
have
mamas.
And as as you've probably come to learn and love about Chris and I, about 90% of it's on the fly. So we kind of roll with the punches. Our biggest deal is making sure we have internet access, right, Chris?
That's right. Half the time, yeah.
Chris and I will also be on Twitter and on Facebook following. So if you have any questions, if you want to DM us, if you want to just hit us up on Cashion Wildcats.
Brett Green
TV.
just started following us. That's what I'm
Brett
talking
Green
about.
just started following us?
What is he doing?
Brett, exactly.
Come on, Brett.
It's my neighbor. In fact, I got a text from him regarding his son. I was going to talk a little bit about Brexton.
Maybe he just started Twittering. Maybe he's Facebook man.
Maybe that'll be it.
Maybe
that's it.
We'll have to ask him.
Maybe he was a Facebook guy.
Yeah.
You're right. But if you love social media, which I think most people in the world do, and you're either a Facebook person or a Twitter person, you can hit us up on both. Chris will be managing the Facebook side. I've got Twitter up here, and if you got any questions, fire them away. We're live. Chris and I are pretty good about not, saying any curse words or anything, but we'll certainly take a look at the questions if they're appropriate or close to appropriate. We'll definitely try to approach it. We don't have any barbecue. I know Michael Swisher was just. I think he would have come for some barbecue.
Only way to get Michael Swisher's food, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, we'll have to learn it. It's clearly not Chick-fil-A or hot dogs.
Right? He didn't show up on Friday, did he? Or watermelon. I mean,
we do love Michael. We are so blessed to have so many great folks in the Logan County, Kingfisher County, Oklahoma County that follow OK Preps and Prep Sports. Cam Jordan he's come to practice. Obviously, Michael Swisher's fantastic. It's again super blessed, and everyone wants to follow a winner. So we believe that this year is going to be another run. Chris, before we go to commercial and come back, anything you want to offer up to get folks excited?
Man, it's just one of those things where I talked about it a little bit at the end of the broadcast, at the scrimmage. It's football season again. I mean, if you are a football fan and you like the anything football, high school football, start of a high school football season in a small town, there's nothing better than that. And just having that excitement and feeling of the community coming together to support a team and the cheerleaders and the band, I'm excited. I mean, you got to love it.
Absolutely, and for those folks that are watching out of state, following grandsons and granddaughters and cousins and whatever the case may be, it is an exciting time. So we'll go to a quick timeout. Be back in about 30 seconds. We'll be checking Twitter. If you guys have any questions, we'll try to answer those on the fly as we move forward. But hang tight. We'll be right back here on Cashion Wildcat TV preseason kickoff show.
Pools, lawns, and landscape.
Stream like the pros with Squirtle Live. Find out more at squirtle.com/stream.
Dr. Matt Dieselhorst at Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics can help you get game day ready. Dr. Dieselhorst works with athletes of all ages, taking a coordinated approach to accelerate return to play and maximize athletic performance. His work with pros in sports training, injury prevention, bracing, functional rehabilitation, and imaging works seamlessly with his medical and surgical expertise. Get started by going to Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics. Let Dr. Matt Dieselhorst get you back on the field, backing all Oklahoma athletes on the field and off.
Christy Perry is a Cashion-based attorney providing clients in Oklahoma with trusted, experienced legal counsel regarding wills and trusts, bankruptcy, and other areas of law. Flexible scheduling is available to discuss your options, and your first consultation is free. If you need assistance regarding a legal matter, call your local Oklahoma licensed attorney, Christy Perry, at 918-373-0882.
welcome back to CWTV 2021 preseason kickoff show. I'm Neiman Abavi, Chris Gibson here. We got Maddox over here as well. Thanks for hanging out, Maddox. Let's see if you get a little wave there. Come on, Maddox, get in here. There it is. Future high school all-star for us, right? Yeah. We appreciate you guys joining us here. It's going to become an annual tradition. We did this last year, and I guess as long as we keep winning state championships, we'll.
We got to do it, right?
Got to keep doing it.
Got to keep rolling.
Absolutely. So. I know 2019 was a tough year, right? So, going, undefeated until the championship game, a tough, heartbreaking loss to Ringling. We had Coach Shack here. We asked him a lot of tough questions about the upcoming season. And, not only was it a state championship win, but a season, but it was a historic championship season with going 16-0. Never happened. And as Coach Shack said, probably will never, ever happen. Chris, I know we didn't get to broadcast per se. We did a little bit of radio. I was on the field. Following the team that whole entire season was probably, probably one of the funner things you could probably think about as a Squirtle TV person. But I mean, last year was just electric, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, and just not knowing from week to week if they were even going to get to play, and kind of being a little bit on the inside of saying, okay, hey, it looks like we're going to get to play this week. We had a team cancel on us because of COVID. I think it was Hinton, and then getting to find out, like, hey, we're going to get to go to Stillwater, play up there, play their JV. And, I talked to some people that were like, oh, man, you're already playing, are you jumping up there and playing them? And you're going to, maybe have a chance to lose and not have that, chance to go undefeated, and then we'll just go up there and man, our boys just went up there and really played hard, had fun. And so,
we took Mike Gundy's parking spot.
Yeah, we did.
That was my highlight.
That was – we didn't stay there the whole time. I felt bad. But yeah.
And that Stillwater JV team wasn't chump change. Gunnar Gundy was the quarterback. The kid's going to start for them this year.
Yep.
Right? So, I mean, that was a legit team.
Yep.
And, we put the whooping on them. It was a great game.
It was fun. And I think that kind of helped. It was, a better game than what we would have played otherwise.
District, yeah, absolutely.
And so, I think it really helped us be prepared for some adversity we saw in the playoffs, So,
Chris,
but yeah.
Before we move on, I thought you brought up a great point regarding we just didn't know what was happening because of COVID.
Yep.
And I think, when you listen to Shack, Coach Shack and Coach Wood, their mentality of week by week, appreciating what you have in front of us, taking care of what you have because we don't know the next week, I think was really something that probably helped this team stay focused and carry through on a 16-0 season, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, and, when Shack would come in after the games, he would tell us, I told those boys, every week, this could be your last game. Go out there and play like it, and they did. And I think it helped them really, keep that mindset week to week. Let's go out there and really play as good as we can because it could be the last time we get on the field. So
in terms of the 2020, obviously the Thomas game, the championship, was there any other games that stood out to you last year that not even just from a score perspective?
Maybe the 7-6 game in Pawhuska.
That was a decent game.
Because, I mean, that whole week was awesome because, we find out we're playing, early on in the playoffs, we knew that was coming, right? We didn't know how it was going to pan out. We didn't know if we were going to get to maybe play at a central spot, if we were going to play in Cashion, if we were going to play in Pawhuska, and then it came down to a coin flip, and we lost. And
the story behind that was great. I was ticked off. I was mad that we had to even do a coin flip. It should have been coming to our house. But I loved Shaq's response was, no, let's go there. Let's go on the road. I want to beat them there.
And he took that, it gave that mentality to the boys of let's go, let's focus, let's get out there and go to their house and beat them. And, man, that was if you did not watch that game, go find it and watch it. Yeah, you may see 7-6 and be like, that may be a boring game. That game was so just on the edge of your seat the whole entire time. And when Landon caught that touchdown and went to the end zone, it was just like you could just feel the tension just kind of fall out of the Cashion side. And it just went all over to the Pawhuska side. So, that was an unbelievable feeling, especially on that Cashion side of just and then, at the end, we're all celebrating and the fireworks go off, in Pawhuska. Like, it was just, it was like a movie, movie stuff.
It was a movie.
And then, but, and give credit to the boys and the coaches to not say, well, we won it right there, because they had a championship game to play, and then went on and took care of business. But, yeah, that game right there was probably my favorite. We didn't even get to call that game. We did a little pregame deal, but it was so fun to watch and be a little bit of – I think you were down on the sideline.
I did. I had some technical difficulties, but that was fine. It was freezing cold. I remember
it was a little chilly.
Dollar General to buy more gloves and socks before. It was a cold one. But, what, as the third and fourth quarter was entering, I couldn't feel the temperature. I was amped. It was great. And I knew – when we got to that point, I was standing next to Matt Harmon and a few Cashion alum on the sideline.
Matt. Yep.
And there was a few. I think one of the Cochran boys is down there. May have been Case, and it was one of those moments where we just knew it was going to be one. We were in it, and it was just going to take one play here.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone doubted. I think once we held them, and Coach Hennessy was, he was brash enough to not kick extra points or kick field goals.
Mm-hmm.
I really just felt like we were one play away. And I think, we'll reference Coach Shack. He had a great interview with Andy Campbell on Squirtle TV on YouTube. You got to go check it out. But, I think Shack talked about it. While the Landon pass was a big one, it was the pass prior to that got us in position.
Was that Mason?
To
Mason Manning? Yeah.
It was a huge catch. It was it may have been double coverage, but it was a huge catch. Got us to about midfield, and that's really what set us up.
And it wasn't an easy. I mean, it went up, got it, came down
it
hard.
Was very difficult. Yeah. And we'll talk about Landon and Mason coming back, a couple 1,000-yard receivers that are coming back. But, yeah, I think that was kind of a lob to you in terms of exciting games from last year.
Oh, yeah. You didn't throw it out. You didn't say that game, but, yeah, I knew where you were going with that for sure. But, I mean, the thing is there was a bunch of games last year that were had a lot of build-up to it, because – looking at the schedule, I remember before the season we were like, Coach, what are you thinking? Like, we're going through the gauntlet at the very beginning of the season with Rejoice, because they were, a team the year before that we thought we would maybe see in the championship game, and we wound up playing Ringling. But and then Minko, we had them stacked up.
Historic
and then Thomas, all of those games were – games that we were so excited to see, but we didn't know if we were going to get to see them because of COVID, and then to get to play out, and just really dominate every team up until that Pawhuska game. And then that game just as close as it was, and to get the win and then go on to really dominate the championship game too was awesome.
Last season, I think, that was obviously you had to have really good fortune, right? So limited injuries. You always have to have a little bit of good luck to go on a championship run. But, the team was poised. Everyone had picked Cashion to get there. I know that there was some flux. I know some people had Pawhuska number one, which is appropriate.
Yeah,
Based on where they're at. They had some big kids, some guys that are going D1 that went D1. So I think from a standpoint, a lot of good things happened for us. The team earned it. I just think it's the small stories, the COVID stories, the week-to-week.
I think it was I was listening, maybe it was Hennessy that said something about if you win a state championship in 2020, maybe you deserve 2 gold balls. Because it was like you're playing against COVID and against the other team. So, it was a big deal to go 16-0 during a season like that.
Yeah,
sure.
We'll get Coach Shack's perspective on that and on how he had to handle that, what he learned from that, and maybe what he's going to carry over into his 2021 squad. We got a great show. It's fantastic. We got Coach Wood and we've got Coach Shack. My man Drew Baker, hot from a wedding's in. And Drew, anytime you want to come down here and grab a mic, you're more than welcome. So he's looking. In fact, we probably shouldn't invite him. He's looking.
I know. He's all.
Actually, he might increase viewership. Our female viewership might go up because Drew's joined us. My man, fresh from a wedding up in Stillwater. Grab a
Maddox.
mic.
Oh yeah, just sit right here,
kind
Drew.
of scoot on down. So, Drew, I don't know if you know this, but you're going to be our Stillwater intern, and you're welcome, and hopefully we're going to have you at a lot of games, but we'll try to get you as many as possible.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that Rejoice game that's coming up next.
Yeah, so we asked Coach Hardaway to bump up the budget a little bit. We're going to get a few extra headsets, so we won't have to share. So we'll have lessons with Lane, and we'll have you anytime you're wanting to be in the booth. We'll have you, Drew, for sure. We're super pleased. I know you're going to want to watch and follow your brother Ryan as he'll be playing with OSU.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully we'll
He's
have
way
your
excited
Friday
about all that.
Drew's going to have our player interviews here in a little bit. And you guys probably recognize Drew from FFA. We're super super pumped and excited to have you on. So glad to have you.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad I got invited to.
Yeah, and maybe we'll teach you the computer so Chris and I can just show up and you can run some production for us. But,
yeah, there you go. I like that wisdom from Lane there. That might be a good little segment to have.
Lessons from
Lane.
Lane.
That is that is a staple since we started, and I don't even know how did it was like accident it happened, but Lane runs the stats, so we have him come in. And Lane will he's got about, I don't know, a Bible's worth of stories on Cashion football.
I think he told me one time that since his kids had been in school here, he had only missed 2 Cashion football games that he hadn't been to.
I believe it. And he was probably having to mend to some calf that was in the middle of a field somewhere.
Something. You never know with Lane. Between him and Johnny, you never really know.
Yeah. Pig was having a baby or something.
Pig having a baby.
Yeah.
But we absolutely love Lane. He was supposed to get us some stats. I texted him. He didn't give us, so it's okay.
Well, they've got a new person in their family, right? Did you know about that?
No, I did not hear about
that.
Yeah,
foreign exchange student
from Spain.
Yeah,
from Spain. They were telling me.
Yeah. All right. Very good.
So I think we have like
we
4 or
have
5.
Like one from France.
We have like 4 or 5 exchange students this year.
So everyone wants to be a part of hashtag all we do is win.
It's a nation. It's nationwide. Not even it's
international.
Yeah, international. That's what I'm
International.
talking about.
Yeah.
Let's
Spreading
go
across the pond there.
Yeah. Well, Cashion Wildcats TV is free of charge, even for those folks. I don't know what kind of charges they might have internet-wise over there, but maybe we'll have to grab a couple of foreign exchange
There
students.
you go.
Maybe get some drops over in France and Spain. That'd be fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and drop down. We'll go ahead and talk about this upcoming season. So enough of last year. We've celebrated them. Pictures and trophies are all over the place, and those guys will go down in history. But 2021 is now the season. I'm going to put up the offensive projected starters. We'll kind of go through it real quick. So these are projected. This is Chris and I, even though the coaches are here. This is kind of what we've seen through 7-on-7 team camps and a little bit that. But how could we have to start with Ben Harmon? The kid is like 4,001 as a starter since his sophomore year. His only loss came in a state championship game. He's got a ton of yards here and there. He was just I just saw that he was on the top 25 players in the state for the Tulsa World. Just a great kid. Obviously, will be starting for the Cashion Wildcats his senior year. Any thoughts, Chris and Drew, on Ben Harmon and maybe some of your thoughts coming in the 2021 season?
Well, Ben, it's been the last 2 years of him starting that, he's had some really, really good leadership. Don't get me wrong, he's been a leader. I mean, if you're a quarterback, you got to be a leader. But this is his year to take it to the next level, put those other kids on his back and say, hey, I've been here, I've done this, I know what we're doing, trust me, and now it's time for you to shine and go out there and make those plays. I mean, he shined the whole way, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, we like to call him Sunshine because of his
the lot.
Got a good flow going. There's a lot of those going around.
But this is his senior year. Let's get out there and be that leader that everybody needs because, like I said, you've had, 2019, you had 20-something seniors. I don't remember how many.
15 or 16.
And then last year, had a really good senior core. You had number 9, you had number 10.
Yeah.
Harrell and Green, I think we'll talk about a little bit about losing them.
And we had on the defensive side Justice and
Justice.
And
a bunch of good leaders, and now everybody. You're in the spotlight. I mean, you don't want to say put pressure on you, but hey, if you're a gamer and somebody that you want to say, hey, put it on me.
Chris,
let's go.
I got to tell you, this particular class, I've got a boy in this class, and I've been watching them since 3rd and 4th grade football. They literally have no conscience. They like walk through life like whatevs, and they all they know is win. That's all they know. That's all they know, and it's almost like you talk about pressure. They expect it, but they don't. It's like almost like it's part of their DNA. And Drew, you were a lineman for Matt.
Yeah, I got to play with Matt for 3 years. So I think it was really interesting to watch, especially this year coming up. It's going to be interesting to see Ben's mindset going into this year because you kind of get a change in mindset when you go from a junior to going into your senior year as your last year playing high school football, that kind of thing. Like Chris touched on, just the maturity that you're going to get coming into like a leadership role. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Ben takes that coming into his senior year and what he has that he's going to want to show out just for his last year at Cashion. So I think that'll be really interesting to see how he matures just from the state championship team last year to dealing with some adversity this year that they're going to have in their schedule. I think it'll be interesting to see how he takes that leadership role on.
Good spot, man. Drew's dropping knowledge. Look
on
at this,
it,
man.
He's on it.
I just need to push buttons and give you guys the mic. That's fantastic.
Whatever.
So we look at the offense. Again, there's some usual names, but some different spots. So you'll notice real quick, Nick Nababi, senior, Number 4, he was a little tight end last year. He's now starting running back. We've got Lagasse and Manning, again, a couple of 1,000-yard receivers from last year coming back. We already talked about Lagasse and Manning in that huge Pahuska game. Max Brown Jr. coming up, another Brown brother coming up. You played with Seth Brown, right,
Yep,
Drew?
Seth was in my class. I played with him. He wouldn't like me saying this. Hopefully he's not watching. I think Max, I really enjoy watching Max. I think Max has a lot of potential. I really enjoy watching him. He's quick. He blows my mind a lot of the times, and I always joke with Seth, hey, you could never do that when we were in high school. Just things like that, just messing with him. But I really enjoy watching Max. Comes from a great family and everything else. But watching Max, again, with Landon. Landon's one of the kids that kind of surprised me when he first came out and he was going to play football. It kind of surprised me a little bit because Logan was such a big baseballer. But when Landon came out, he really pleasantly surprised me, and he blows me away in all those games. Like you mentioned, the Paul Huska game. Between him and Mason, those two just really kind of took me away at what they brought to the table.
Yeah, and it's amazing to think about just, again, reloading at the wide receiver position. It's just phenomenal over the last few years. I appreciate the rub there on Seth. That's good. Max, the one thing that he doesn't have that Sam and Seth have is that what am I going to say? The gamesmanship.
Is that what it's called?
That's what I call it.
Gamesmanship or trash talk?
We'll see if it comes out. I absolutely loved Sam and Seth's approach to the game, their gamesmanship. Max is a little bit more let his play do the talking for him perspective. But I've loved watching him in 7-on-7 and team camps, and now here in the scrimmage. You're going to see a lot from Max. It's going to be fantastic. And again, another speedster of the Brown family. Jackson Vandruff, the kid, literally, I called him stupid strong. It was a compliment. The kid, I don't think he even realizes how strong he is, and he's just getting bigger and stronger. Obviously, another brother. We remember Austin Vandruff a couple of years ago. Jackson, solidifying his spot. He had a great 7-on-7. Drew, did you have a chance to watch him the 7-on-7?
I got to watch a few of the 7-on-7s, the ones that were broadcasted, and then just a few stats that I got to watch. Jackson was one of those. I was kind of surprised by him a little bit because, like you said, the stupid strong deal. He just doesn't come off as just that aggressive, just on the field, maniac type. But he really impresses me when he's out there,
coming off the edge.
Coming off the edge like that.
Yeah.
He's one of those. If he could figure out how strong he probably actually is, he'd probably be a pretty good handful.
Yeah, he gave Thomas and a lot of those linemen all they wanted. Camden Billy, I know, probably wants no more of Jackson Vandruff. On the line, we've got Cheese, Camden Maroney, Joey Wilson, and Martinez returning. Chase Ritter's going to be bumped up. We love Chase. He's a jovial guy. That kid's smiling all the time. I love his approach. And then Preston Connor's come back. Chris, we had Preston his freshman year. His sophomore year, I think he focused on baseball,
yep.
and I think he kind of caught the bug and was back. And he's looks like he may be a projector at that left tackle spot. Anything regarding the lineman?
Yeah, just like you said, Preston he's a kid that is very intelligent. He works very hard in the weight room and just on his athletic ability. Everything he does, he works really hard at. And I think if we can get him mean and get him in that football, very aggressive mindset, he's a kid that could be one of those that you like somebody watching last year didn't see him go, where the heck did they get this kid?
Yeah.
But it's going to be one of those things where he's just going to have to get that aggressiveness and get that mean streak and want to really attack. Yeah. And if he can do that, he's going to be a good one.
I love it. And you know what I love about that left side? It's extremely athletic. You could see a guard tackle pull on that coming back to the right side. I know we saw a lot of that with Harley Miller and Brian Baker a couple of years ago. Drew, did you play center, Drew, or did you play?
No, I was right guard.
And did they pull you at that time?
No, a lot of times that year that we moved, it would have been my sophomore year. We moved a lot of things around that year. We had Jack Sunken, who had previously never been on the line, that played center. We called him Brains because he kind of kept everybody in line that year. But that year, a lot of time, when Hunter Archer moved in, we used a lot of Hunter pulling just from where he was and everything else. Hunter was a lot quicker and could just read that situation a lot better. But like when you mentioned Harley and Ryan, that's one of those things that you like to see when you can see kids that are big and can play on the line up there, but you can also see that they could be kids that you could get out into some space and let them do kind of what they want to do. And you kind of touched on kids from last year that you wouldn't even think of this year. Just seeing how some of those, like Chase and Cotter and all those other kids, just seeing how big that they've gotten just from last year to this year's time is impressive to me every single year, how some of those kids change just in that short amount of time.
Yeah, workout. It's the off season. But certainly, again, from the line perspective, we've got Joey Wilson, a second-year starter as well, and We got a chess champion in Martinez as well. So you talk about
Isn't he
Brian.
like teach a class at Francis Toll or something
Probably,
too?
probably.
Like,
It is
like
amazing,
genius.
like what we have here at Cashion. Let's jump over to the defensive side. We'll spend the next 3 minutes on that. We'll go to a quick commercial here, but on the defensive side, again, just kind of straightforward. It'll be more of a 3-3-5 look, I believe, is kind of where we're going to have. We'll have what we believe is Joey Wilson and Vandruff on the ends, Camden Maroney back at nose tackle, who is an absolute handful.
An absolute unit. He is not somebody that you want to go meet in the hole somewhere or have somebody that you're going to have to take care of. He is a handful.
You know, I know that there was some thoughts about moving him around at linebacker, but he is just an absolute mess at nose tackle. Just a nightmare for coaches. Across the middle, again, I don't want to get in trouble, but this is kind of what we think might happen. Coach Wood could kind of maybe correct us, but as of right now, we have a little Jake Branson, Jr.'s coming up, and Seth Gilbert on the outside. We've got a new guy, Bryce Burke. I know Aiden Plummer may be there in the middle as well, but we've got a new sophomore transfer from Deer Creek, a big kid, Bryce Burke.
He's not a transfer. He moved out here.
Oh, moved out, yeah.
Don't
my apologies. Yeah,
that's a touchy subject.
We don't have transfers here at Cashion. That's exactly right. You gotta at least have something. You gotta have a mailbox and some electric coming out to make it happen. But yeah, Bryce and his family have moved out here. We're super blessed and happy to have him. And he's actually plays a little basketball too, so definitely that will cross over. And Landon Lagasse and with the injury to horrible injury to Gavin Phippen, actually we're hoping to maybe see him in the back half. Believe it or not, it would be just sort of a miracle to see him coming back at the back end of the football season. The playoffs, we'll have Max Brown Jr. replacing him at corner. And so a little bit of a shift in the safety spot where we'll have 3 safeties. We've got Ben Harmon, Mason Manning, and you'll have Nick Nababi kind of in that Roy Williams, kind of that Roy backer position where they may float him up to kind of help with run defense. Chris, I'll start with you. Anything you want to kind of offer up regarding the defense coming in terms of projected starters?
Yeah, I did talk to Gavin after the scrimmage, and I said, "When you gonna play?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna try to get back for the playoffs." And I would love it. I would love it to death if he could. But if he doesn't, we completely understand. If anybody hasn't seen that footage of the his
brutal
leg breaking, man, it just broke my heart because I know how hard that kid has worked and some of the opportunity that he would have had on the football field this year. But the kid's going to work hard. You know he will. And we'll see.
And thankfully, he didn't have to have surgery.
Yeah, I mean, how awesome would that be to get a kid like that back during the playoffs to help you out, kind of fill a position if you need it. But no, the defense. I mean, I'm going to talk a little bit about the keys to what I think the defense needs to do, or what needs to happen this year from last year. But I mean, I'm excited. I think there's some kids that have some really good potential, high potential, and like you said, I want Jackson Vandruff. I mean, I love watching that kid come off the edge and really just get after people, and that's a kid that I'm excited to really watch this year, just be that much better than what he was last year. I mean, he was a sophomore last year, and Camden Maroney.
Camden Maroney.
Yeah.
Their names were called quite a bit the whole season, but definitely in that championship game. Drew, from your perspective, anybody stand out you're looking to see?
I'm really excited to watch Camden again, just from, like you were talking about, last year to this year. Camden's just gotten so much bigger and so much stronger. He's really going to be a handful for a lot of people. I think he's going to ruin a lot of people's days as far as on the defensive side goes. He's going to be one of those kids that going into the game, the coaches are going to be like, hey, you got to watch out for this kid. He's going to ruin your day if he gets the chance. Camden Maroney, really exciting. Kind of excited to see what Jake Branson's able to do out there. I know he's a really quick kid, so I'm excited to see what he's going to do. Same thing with Max. I know Gavin not being there, but I don't think Max is going to have any problem filling that position for the time that he's got to be there. Same thing, I know Mason had some shoulder troubles in the offseason, so just kind of getting to see what those guys are able to do with the positions that are not there last year as far as Jacob Farrow, Caden Harrell, that kind of deal. Get to see how those guys kind of fill those roles in that position and what it kind of means for the defense going forward. So same thing with Ben. I really think it's interesting when the quarterback gets to play on defense also. Matt did that a little bit when we were going.
I remember thinking about that OCA game with Matt.
Yeah. But, I mean, Matt was a handful on defense. When he was there, he was a handful, and Ben's kind of the same way. Ben reminds me a lot of Matt, and he's different from them in a lot of ways also. But, I mean, just Ben now, just watching him play, it reminds me a lot of Matt, and there's a lot of things that are different about him also. So it's kind of exciting to compare those two. Having been playing with Matt and then getting to watch Ben, it's kind of exciting just to kind of compare those two. But, I mean, as far as the defense goes, I think they're not going to have any problems with very many things at all, especially with people, like Camden and, like you mentioned, Jackson coming off the edge like that, as big as he is. Joey Wilson is another one of those kids that in the offseason has just blown up and gotten a lot better, so it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and they'll have guys funneling in and out. You'll have the potentially Kai Gilbert coming in, maybe at corner. You'll have others coming in at defensive end. We talked about Aiden Plummer. I think Cotter got some work at defensive end. Plummer at middle linebacker, the Panther. We'll get him going. We
got to get. Is he talking about Aiden Palmer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get his gold shoes back. I love that.
We do.
Get some spray
we've
paint.
got Aiden Williams, or we have Williams coming back potentially at nose tackle as well. And then the 3-3-5 look. It was I know talking with Nick last year in the back half. I think Coach Wood put that 3-3-5 in for Pahuska, rolling Nick up and back. He had some key plays in coverage. I think he had one that was for me. I remembered was kind of almost a bust where they had a tight end running free down the sideline. I don't even know how he made it over there, was able to break it up. But it'll be something where, I'm really looking forward to seeing how Coach Wood and how innovative he can be with this 3-3-5 and the personnel that he has to match up. And we're going to talk to Coach Wood about all the diverse offenses that we see in Class A, from the single wing, veer, all the way to 5 wide, and how he has to address that week over week. So with that, we'll go to a quick timeout. We'll come back. Chris is going to walk through key players and keys of the season, and then we'll walk through the schedule quickly. And then our fine coaches who've been over there, they're probably on Twitter or something checking stuff out. We'll hopefully get them over here, and so they can get home and do their thing. But we appreciate you guys joining us here on Cashion Wildcats TV Kickoff Show. We'll be back in a sec.
At Maples Nixon Diesel Horse, we've helped a lot of people, and our goal was to treat each and every person like a friend. And as a friend, we've got your back, always. We understand what you're going through. Being lawyers is what we do, but it's not all that we are. We care. We'll stand beside you throughout the entire legal process, not just as lawyers, but as your friends. We are Maples Nixon Diesel Horse, and we are here to help.
Cashion Shape Up Fitness is locally owned and operated with no contracts or sign-up fees. Our rates start at only $30 per month, and we have tanning available. Everything you need to work on your health and fitness. So contact Amber Lee to sign up today, 405-538-8248. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Cashion Shape Up Fitness. Have a pest problem? Call Rural Pest Solutions today. We offer as-needed services as well as a variety of treatment schedules. We're family-owned and operated, and we specialize in treating life's smallest problems: spiders, ants, roaches, termites, mice, and more. For both residential and commercial, we're ready to solve your pest problems today. So call Rural Pest Solutions in Cashion, 405-238-6565. Proud supporter of Wildcat athletes.
All right, welcome back to the 2021 Cashion Football Preseason Kickoff Show. I'm Neiman Ababi. Joining me here on this in the west side of the gym is my man Chris Gibson and our newest member, Drew Baker, to the CWTV family. Welcome, Drew.
Hey, glad to be here.
Drew didn't get the memo. It was golf shirts, not long.
Yeah, I did not get the memo on the golf shirts.
Yeah. But at least you got a good color there.
Yeah, maybe next time.
And you know what, Drew? You have to check your ego at the door, so hopefully you're ready for that. Because,
I'm ready.
We absolutely make fun of ourselves.
All day, every day.
Pretty much.
Makes things interesting that way.
Any way to go. But we appreciate you guys joining us on this 2021 Kickoff Show. We broke down a lot of stuff last year, returning starters, projected starters. And this is my favorite part of the show, and that's where we get to talk about how you can continue to help us here at Squirtle TV, at Cashion Wildcats TV. We can't do this by ourselves, and we certainly appreciate the 20-plus sponsors that we had last year that help us make this free of charge for the community and anyone else. We had over 200,000 views through football, basketball, baseball, choir, bands, everything that we did. We had over 200,000 views, which for a town of 865 and a Class A school is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, we had I think we had upwards 20,000 people watching a playoff game. Now, again, they were watching some really good football, but it's amazing. And so if you want to be a sponsor and you want to reach out within Logan and Kingfisher County and beyond, There's no better way to do that. We've got a lot of packages that are available to you. You can check that out on the right. You can always go to cashionwildcats.tv, and up top you can see a red advertise button. You can go ahead and check on that. And if you happen to know Coach Shack or Coach Hardaway, reach out to them, give them a high five, buy them a cup of coffee, and say, hey, I want to be a sponsor. But there's some great opportunities to kind of help support this, to keep it free of charge. There's a lot of high school streaming services that cost you money. You have to pay money, and so that's fine. But if you want to be one of those folks that wants to, say, hey, how can I help the community and help the school and help all those great kids? There can't be anything better than this.
Well, that, and I mean the eyeballs that are going to be on your business is just unbelievable for the price that you're getting. I mean, you spend $500 and there's going to be 200,000 people see your logo, your business. You get to advertise that way. I mean, you can't find anything better for the money to get and to be able to help, these kids. Yeah, all day long.
Give you some shout-outs. Give you some shout-outs.
That's right. Shout-outs all day, every day. But you can see John Hardaway's email there, jhardaway@cashionps.org. Hit him up. If you're around the town, around the school, come find him. Certainly would love an opportunity for you guys to continue to help support us. And on that note, we'll go ahead and give a quick shout-out as well in terms of the what do we have? Is it the Community State Bank? Community State Bank. Let me see if I can even find it. I lost it. But
down low. Go low.
We lost it. I lost it. But nonetheless, Community State Bank will be doing the Kickoff Kid, 1st through 5th grade. Go to the bank, sign up. You talked about Maddox doing it last year.
Yeah, just the Kickoff Kid. It's every game. Cashion or Community State Bank sponsors the Kickoff Kid. They get to go. They get to meet Coach Shackford. Get to go out to center of the field, do the coin toss. You're almost just like you're part of the team. You're one of the captains. You get to go out there, and it's 1st through 5th grade. Maddox got to do it a couple years ago, and it was just like. He was so excited to be a part of Cashion football at that age and be able to get out there on the field with the players and see kind of how it's done. And he still talks about it to this day. So get your kid out there. Go sign up at the bank with Chad. Go see Chad Tishner or Leah Harmon, any of the ladies up there at the bank, and they will get you signed up and get your kid in the drawing to get a chance to get out there with the team.
Yeah, fun times. Appreciate it. We'll get you on camera, too, so get a little showtime while you're at
Oh, yeah, get some viewership on there.
Yeah, heck yeah. So, Chris, so we paid a little bit of the bills. We try to do our part to take care of all this fancy equipment we have and all the things that we have. We appreciate you guys helping us out. I know Mrs. Carnes has got 2 classes. She's got a high school class. I think there's a junior high class, multimedia. So, not only are you helping fund what, being able to view this and supporting our kids, but you may be, helping out the next Martin Scorsese, your next director,
That's right.
Working for ESPN based on this multimedia growth that we have here at Cashion. So it's just, again, it's an amazing gift. We definitely would love for you guys to be a part of that. So let's jump over real quick. Chris's players to watch in 2021. Chris, what do you got here?
Yeah, so when he asked me to, get together some players to watch, offensive side of the ball, it's no-brainer. Ben Harmon is that one that everybody's eyes is going to be on. He's got great receivers. Ben's got an arm, and he's got the experience to deliver it. We expect to see big things from Ben all season long, and we talked about that leadership, and I think he's ready. He's ready to take that, the team and drive them down the field and say, Coach, I've got this. We're gonna make whatever you put in the game plan. We're gonna make it work. I'm gonna find those receivers. Those receivers are gonna make plays, and it's gonna. Ben Harmon is gonna be what makes this team successful this year. Which, like I said, he's helped every year along the way. This year, it's Ben. Let's go, and he should be excited about it. This is what he should be. He should want that. Then I had Nick Nabavi, so he moved over from the tight end position and kind of taken Caden Harrell's role as that running back. I talked about it a little bit in the scrimmage. Nick is a very smart kid that is can take some of that stuff that he learned from blocking up there on the line, take it back there, and we saw it in the scrimmage. I think one time he was a patient runner. waited and saw a cutback lane on the backside, took it and had a big run. He's going to be a big part of the offense that we didn't see him as much last year. Yeah, he got, a couple of big pass plays.
He had a couple touchdowns.
But he had lots of time up there on the line blocking and really making, things happen for other people.
Yeah.
This year he's going to have the ball in his hands, handed off to him in positions where he's going to have to run hard and drive his feet and, make sure he's going to the right spot. And that's a kid that I don't think you have to worry about. Is he going to be in the right spot, or is he going to hit the right hole, or is he going to, when he does get hit, is he going to drive his feet? Because he's going to run hard.
Also a kid that's going to be hard to bring down.
Yeah, he's a load. And so I'm excited on the offensive side of the ball to watch Ben and Nick in that backfield and really work together and just continue what happened, last year. With, like you said, we've got to find a nickname. Like we had the Moose was loose last year. We got to have something.
It'll come to me. I'll have to go watch some Gus Johnson.
That's an in the moment deal. It's got to just come to you.
That's right.
But Nick, I'm going to be honest with you. I was a little shocked when I was told that. I was like, really? Running back, really? And just because he did so well at tight end in terms of blocking, setting the edge, coming out, catching a few passes. I really was shocked. I thought maybe Max might be that guy at running back, and I know Max will get some time. He's going to get some time behind there. I know he did in some of the scrimmages. But one of the things I really, I don't think you're going to replicate the man-child that is Caden Harrell, 6'2", 220. Like, that's just hard. The guy has thighs the size of, 2 junior high kids, right, put together.
We could replicate that every year. We'd be in great shape.
Yeah,
we'd be okay.
And speaking of which, I saw Caden at an OBU scrimmage, and we'll talk about that maybe down the road. But I think one of the things that while I don't expect Nick to maybe have a couple guys bounce off of him, or he'll be a tough runner. I think one of the things that will be his value is catching out of the backfield. That was something that. I know we had some screen plays to Caden, but I think Shaq will be able to utilize the running back in the pass game a lot differently and a little bit more effective with Nick having his tight end experience, down the road. So that'll be something that I'll look for as well. But, I'll be harping up every Friday morning.
Hey, and Maddox even said, he's like, man, Nick is faster than what I thought.
It's weird. I think it's just how he runs. He was a running back with the CASA with the small elementary teams. He kind of filled in here and there. I think it's just how he runs. You ought to watch him run bases. I think you'll see what I'm talking about. But I think he ran a 4.8, 4.9, 4.8 at a couple camps.
Nice.
I was shocked. But nonetheless, let's get off the body kid. Let's
so
back over on the
so that was the offensive side. The defensive side, I kind of talked about these two earlier, Jackson Vandorf and then Camden Maroney. Those two, I think they had kind of tried moving Camden back to maybe some linebacker. Mm-hmm. And then they saw, like, let's put him back up there in that nose guard position and just let him be disruptive. He is so good.
It's natural.
Yeah, at just getting up there.
Oh, like a bull in a china shop. He just wreaks havoc on the front line there. I mean, you could in any of the games last year that you could watch on it, you could just watch that front line right there, and they were having just a time trying to get Camden under control. It's really exciting to watch.
Drew, what do you think? Why do you think that's the case? I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete, and we talked about that all last year. Just an amazing athlete. That he was a JV quarterback. He was a quarterback. And,
oh yeah.
And what do you think? Why do you think that is?
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that his older sister and brother probably picked on him quite a bit when he was younger, so he's probably a little hardened up to it at this point. But I mean, same thing with to go back to like the fundamentals of it. He's been working really hard in the weight room. He's got a chest like a cannon on the front of him, so it's just. He's really, really exciting to watch, especially on the front there. I laugh at it when I watch it. He just ruins things. He's built different. He's built different, a lot different. Peyton, slender kid, that kind of deal. He was really good. But, I mean, Camden, it's kind of when he played quarterback in junior high and just some things like that, you were like, you kind of see it in the woodwork. You were like, that's not going to last much longer.
He had a
little chunk to him. You were like, he's going to be a handful. But, no, it's really exciting. I'm glad that he's still up at the front because the whole deal, you can't get anything past him. Yeah. They have to – I mean, you got to dedicate some guys to get him under control.
Yeah, and we win. When you have to dedicate, 2 to 3 guys to stop him, we win now. We win that battle. So, absolutely. Yeah. I think again, another great solid choice. Anything on Jackson Vandross?
Yeah, Jackson, we kind of talked on him earlier, just how strong that kid is. And, you talk to him, he's very just, he's just not just a real talkative kid or
he comes
around,
by it honestly.
Just kind of quiet. But you watch him on the football field coming off the edge and getting back there and just wreaking havoc on the backfield and the quarterbacks that he's played against. It's fun to watch, and being that he was a sophomore and just how much he learned last year, because that was one of the questions last year. How's he going to do? Younger kid moving into that spot that, I think Ryan and all those guys were so good. They had so many kids playing on that front line last year that we didn't know how that was going to work, and then him and George on the other side. It was
that was the deal with those two. Once Ryan and Kyler figured out how strong they were, Ryan's the biggest deal. Once Ryan figured out how long his wingspan was and everything else, you could almost see it in the progression of the games his senior year. Once that whole feeling kind of clicked, especially in his junior year too, you could see kind of it working in there. Once he figured out how long, how big, and all that kind of stuff it was, you could tell that he started using those things to his advantage. And same thing with like Jackson. Once he figures out, he's a handful. He can be a handful. And once he figures that out and can get that there, he's not going to have a problem with it at all.
And maybe even Preston Collar's another one of those kids that's that same build. If I don't know where they're going to really put him, if they do on the defense, maybe they'll just let him focus on the offense. But it'd be fun to see him coming off the edge, having those two really big kids off the edge. But yeah, I'm excited to watch Jackson and really see his progression from that sophomore year and Camden, both of them sophomores now juniors. See that growth and even into next year.
Yeah, and that's always an exciting deal. And a lot of times you don't even get to see it until a real game situation. Just when the pressure is on, that kind of a deal. Just how better they get from even during the season, just from game one to when playoffs roll around, how much better those kids get just in that short amount of time. Especially going from year to year between junior year to senior year, sophomore to junior. It's just really exciting to see how fast those kids can change and how much better that they get realizing what they can do out there.
I love it. And you guys are welcome that we brought Drew Baker along because you're getting a lot of knowledge, not only and hopefully through the course of the season, just like this, just in football knowledge, but just his knowledge of here at Cashion and the history and things like that. So I thought great points by both of you guys. If we think about the legacy financial services and insurance, it's like a conglomerate now. Are you like Fortune 500 yet?
Yeah.
So
that's what it is.
we have this segment. We have it at every game, and so we're going to do it for the preseason. It's the essentially keys for the Cats now, I think is what we're calling it here, but keys to the game. So for this season, we got a couple of areas, one for offense and one for defense. So Chris, teach us in terms of what you feel like are keys for the Cats to success and repeating, #repeat in 2021.
Is that the new hashtag we're going with now? #repeat?
Well, I don't think we got a lot of love with the hashtag chasing gold. That worked for us, but we're going to go #repeat. Why not?
Yeah, let's do it. That's the plan. So the offensive side of the ball, the key, I'm just going to throw it out there. It's the pass game. Ben Harmon, he's got an arm. He's the senior. He's the leader. You have two very, very good receivers coming back, 1,000-yard receivers coming back. Some other younger kids that are fast can get into space that he can deliver to the ball to, and the Gilbert kids.
That's right.
Those two boys
out there at receiver. Yeah,
and
right.
and some other, like you said, Max Brown coming out of the backfield, maybe throwing the ball to him, throwing the ball to Nick, some coming out of the backfield. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there may be a game where you never know what Shaq's going to do. He could run the ball every single play.
I think sometimes Shaq's game plan is how pissed he is at the other coach on what he wants to do. Like literally, I swear half the time a game plan is like, that guy said something about run, so you know what? Guess what we're going to do? We're going to do the opposite. I'm going to stick it. It's amazing in terms of the game plan. And we'll look up, and it's like, he's literally thrown 15 straight passes in a row, and we have like 27, 80 points or whatever.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you just got to prove a point.
That's my point. Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
But I think this year, with that the tools that he has, that passing game is going to have to click, and with as much work as they've put in over the summer, with the 7-on-7 and the kids that are there and that have the experience of playing and making those big plays down the field, just like we were talking about in the Paul Huska game with Landon, Ben to Landon. We're going to see a lot of that, and I'm excited. I'm a receiver. I love to see that deep ball fall in the hands and just running for the touchdown. I like the crossing routes and everything. The pass game is going to be fun to watch this year.
I thought you were going to go with running. I thought you were going to talk about on the offense either that. It's not the line. I think the line is solidified.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about so maybe that's it. Maybe because the offensive line is pretty much, needs to be where it's at. The run game should be in a good spot. But I thought with the replacement of Caden Harrell, I thought that's where you were going to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's both. I mean, it's got to be. I think the balance is good, but what's going to win us games, I think, is that passing offense. Because of the fact that Ben Harmon is the man this year, and he can throw it, and he's got the experience to do that. I think I talked about a little bit in the scrimmage. That offensive line last year was the question. You know, they lost so many kids from that 2019 going into 2020 from that were seniors. We didn't know what that offensive line was going to look like, and of course, why did we question Coach Robertson? You know, that dude.
I learned that you
don't question him, and so just having him with these kids another year. You're a lineman.
Yep.
You tell us. I mean, he has you in believing in yourself before you get on that field, and he has you knowing exactly what you need to do. Talk about Coach Robertson as a coach and how he prepares those linemen.
Oh, I mean, I could sit here and talk about Coach Robertson for 24 hours if we needed to. But Coach Robertson's is one of those deals, no matter how bad or good things are going, he's just going to level with you and kind of keep things at a even keel pace. I mean, there's been many times where things either haven't been going well at practice or in the game. I can remember a couple of games when I was in high school, things didn't really go well the first half, and he'd come in even keel and just kind of level things out. And there was a couple times where he wasn't, but we deserved it those times, I think. But no, he's just one of those guys that you could talk to anybody that ever was underneath him that he had ever coached, and anybody that's ever coached with him or been a player for him, they'd walk through hot coals for him anytime, no matter what it is. So he's just one of those guys, no matter what it is you have to do, it could be the biggest task in the world. And the way that he goes about just talking to kids just on a level basis, just really going to get you prepared for whatever it's going to be. He won't lie to you. He'll just level with you, but it gets you prepared in that sense. Just he keeps everything real. It's just it's really appreciative, especially no matter, it could mean the yelling at the games between everybody, even himself. But once it gets down to when you're like, what do we need to do? He'll lay it out for you just as perfect as it is. And 99% of the time, if you just do exactly what he's saying, you're in good shape.
You're in good shape. Coach Shack always talks about his coaching staff. He wouldn't trade him for the world, and I mean that's certainly an anchor or cornerstone for the team. And so, Chris, real quick, let's go to the defense. So you listed linebackers. So talk to us.
Yeah, I mean defensive side. Just me thinking, okay, and I knew where you were going with the running back game like that. You thought maybe that's what I was going to do, but this year the linebackers, that front line with Jackson, Vandorf, and Camden, they're solid. Those kids are going to get after it. But when you lose number 9, Caden Harrell, that was just the force on defense for the Wildcats. There was a few times last year that he went out. Either just the dude was tired, or had a little bit of a bang up.
Yep.
You could kind of see the defense was not as good without him out there. Right. So this year, I want to see those linebackers, Nick Nabavi, Nick is going to be one of those kids that's going to have to be a leader on that linebacking core and make sure that everybody's there. And I want to see somebody step up and fly to the ball, because you don't have Justice flying to the ball and smacking people. You don't have
those two outside
Farrow,
guys. Farrow underrated in terms of the impact of the game. They literally, I think they had their hands on so many significant parts of any given game. I mean, you talk about special teams as well with Jacob Farrow.
Not afraid to go downhill and hit somebody.
Yeah, so I mean, those guys. So Chris, I couldn't agree with you more on this on the linebackers. I think you're replacing the 3 top tacklers on the team. All of them were all in the hundreds in terms of their tackling totals from last year. Turnovers and just the fear that they brought into the opponent. That is, I think, is going to be one of Coach Wood's biggest tasks this year is to figure out what that looks like. I couldn't agree with you more on that. Drew, did you want to offer anything up on that?
Well, just a deal like that. You had kids like Jacob and Caden that would just absolutely punish people. Yeah. I mean, if you can get some of the guys that can step up on defense, if you are willing to go meet somebody in the hole and just hit them, you can tell when kids got hit by Caden or Jacob last year and years past, or by anybody that was willing to go down there and do it, they didn't want to do the same thing twice. If you can make it an aggressive point to make sure those kids regret it when they run into you on defense, they're not going to want to do it 20 times throughout the game.
Those boys broke people's souls.
I wouldn't want to meet Caden Harrell in the hole. That is an absolute fact.
Even before we were doing this, I was working the sideline working the sticks on the visitor side, right, at home games. And I could physically watch kids after getting hit by Jacob Farrow or Justice Broadbent or Caden Harrell literally say, I don't want the ball, coach.
I'm done.
I'm done. No more. Like, I thought I was a hot shot. I thought I was I was going to bring the business. And then about, 4 players later, it was like, nah, I'm going to run this one out of bounds. I don't need this anymore. All right. Well, those are some great breakdown. Chris is dropping knowledge on us. Drew, you're obviously welcome. There's some good stuff here in terms of what we have. Coach Shack is leaving. We appreciate you coming back. We went on a little bit longer so far. We got 3 guys talking now. We got to give everyone a little bit of space. But we'll go to a quick timeout. We're going to bring on Coach Tony Wood and the greatest defensive mind in the state of Oklahoma. We have Coach Wood coming by. We'll have a few minutes to kind of break down a little bit of last year, but mainly talk about this upcoming season. Hopefully we'll have Coach Shack coming back. Hopefully he's not going to leave forever. But we appreciate you guys staying here on the Cashion Wildcat preseason kickoff show. Last year, I think we went for a couple hours. I think it went a little bit. I think we may break that here. But
yeah, and then we got a couple of the kids coming in here afterwards after they get done with their senior pictures. Yeah, well, it should work out just fine.
All you got to do is follow God's plan. So I'm Neiman and Bobby for Chris Gibson and Drew Baker. We'll be right back here on Cashion Wildcats TV.
Chris Cochran and his whole football family are really fired up for the Cashion Wildcats tonight. Also about him joining forces with Legacy Insurance and Investments. He has taken his extensive 25 years of experience and proven
on all jobs with financing options available. We match manufacturer's warranty for all newly replaced water heaters. We'll get your water heater back up and running as fast as possible so you don't have to put your life on hold waiting for service. Give us a call today, 405-844-TANK.
I did not realize you were a Chiefs fan.
405-844-8265. Go Wildcats!
On that. All right, welcome back to Cashion Wildcats TV. I'm Neiman and Bobby here on the 2021 preseason kickoff show. If you haven't noticed, the view has kind of expanded to bring in the defensive mind, the genius here at Cashion High School. My man Tony Wood, Coach Wood. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
Are you excited? You've been prepping. Were you talking in the mirror, like in the bathroom, to get ready for this?
Oh yeah, just got everything written down on my hand right here, just in case I need something. So, anyway, no, I'm excited, man. I'm ready to go. It should be another good year for us. I'm excited about it.
All right, I'm going to ask you one thing, Coach. I don't like to tell people what to do, especially guys that can swallow me. But if you could move your mic a little bit closer to your mouth, we want to make sure everyone gets the full intensity of what's kind of going on. Maybe we can turn my mic back up. Yeah, not too much, but about right. Go a little bit higher.
Well, we're maxing out here.
We're maxing out. Okay, we're back in the yellow. This is the MPAL. This is the strong mic here for me. So you guys are getting. You weren't getting enough, but you're getting a lot now. But hey, Coach Wood.
I got the JV mic.
No, that's the high dollar mic right there. That's the one we had to like give a.
That's the one you scream in. That's probably why.
This is the one I screamed in. Right. Yeah. No, unfortunately. But Coach Wood, we appreciate you coming on. And I know you guys watch the show. I know you guys watch the broadcast. I know you skip huddle and watch our game broadcast. I know you do. I try to give like some secret subliminal messages to you during the game.
We put it on mute, but we won't.
Coach Wood. No, you're not. That's okay. It don't mind.
When we know there's a big play about to happen, we'll turn it down. There's
okay.
No doubt about
all right.
That's not a lie.
I do love the Cashion Wildcats.
So do I, man.
Okay.
It's a great place. It's a great place.
All right, so Coach Wood,
let's loud on the sidelines.
Yeah, that's what I said.
See, there you go. So let's one question about last year. I want to go back to the Pawhuska game. So during that game, did Coach Shack, what did he give you to make sure you guys, to hold him to 6? What deal was made? What did you get? Did you get a steak dinner?
Zero.
Nothing. That literally was the greatest defensive performance.
Yeah, other than that, here's your opportunity, son. You want to win a gold ball? You got to hold them to 6 points. That's okay.
So Coach Hennessy, who we love, Coach Hennessy, and his social media game is fantastic, by the way. So Coach Hennessy, ton of points, broke the Oklahoma scoring record. I mean, what was like? You guys kind of fiddled with things a little bit in that game. What do you think credited your success in that game and holding them to just 6 points? The team that basically broke every single offensive record in the state of Oklahoma.
Well, we talked about this, and you've heard us talk about this. It was play the next play, play the next play, play the next play. Doesn't matter what happened the previous play, and those kids just fought. The resiliency, the fight that they had in them, and to just keep playing and keep grinding, and know that we're going to catch a break. Something's going to happen, and we're going to take over. And then and one of the other things that we talked about too is we had Matt come in and throw that week.
Oh, okay.
Because you can't emulate the arm that Bryce had. He was a tremendous quarterback. He could throw it a country mile. And no offense to Nathan, but he couldn't throw it that far.
No, there's no offense.
So bringing Matt in that week, and it's funny to say, I talked to him on Sunday. He's like, I don't know. Or Kel talked to him. So I don't know. And so I called him on Monday and said, hey, look, there's no option. You're coming to practice today. You have nothing
Take
going
one for the team. Heck yeah. I love it. Well, that offensive staff had a former North Texas University quarterback, Mason Fine, right? Yep. You had Hennessy. You had the Drummond family. There was a lot of celebrity status type stuff. So I got to tell you, I was absolutely stoked. Of all the games, that was the one that certainly got me fired up for sure in regards to the defensive
100%.
performance.
It was exciting the whole time. Chris said a while ago that once we scored that touchdown, the tension kind of released from our sideline, and I was like, no, it didn't. There's still 3.5 minutes to go with the most prolific offense in Oklahoma history. I'm like, hey. We got.
Maybe for me.
It went from I took a deep breath, and then I was like, oh, there's still 3.5 minutes.
Going into it was going to be as tight as it was there.
I thought we had a chance to, we were going to throw them a different look that they hadn't seen, and we were really good defensively last year, and so I thought we had a shot, but I thought we might score another touchdown or two, but anyways, and so it was epic. I don't know. I mean, try to emulate that again is going to be next to impossible. It was one of those one for the ages.
It really was, and I mean, I know that gets thrown around, but it absolutely. I mean, the lead up to the game, the coin flip, all of that, traveling up there, it was literally fireworks. It was packed. We had Squirtle Game of the Week. There was like 20-some-odd thousand people watching. Mm-hmm. It even made, the Squirtle highlights made Channel 9 and Channel 5 highlights that night.
It was
big time.
Electric atmosphere. And like I said, the lead up to it all week was just, it was just one of those games where it was just, you're on pins and needles all week, just ready to kick off.
Yeah, fantastic. So that was enough of last year. Let's kind of focus going into this year. One of the things that, the scrimmage that we had Pawnee running basically – double wing.
Double tie, double wing. Here we come.
2 yards in the cloud of dust business. We're going to look at the schedule here in a second, but, you've got a wide range of offenses. Does that make your job easier, or do you think it makes it harder, here?
Some of the defensive stars that we had last year, how do you take that and, move to this year with the newer kids? I mean, do you take that and say, hey, he would have done it this way, or hey, now this is your spot? You've got.
Yeah, as much as we love those guys, Jacob and Justice and Caden and Brex. I mean, it's a new group, and we always talk about no two teams are the same.
Right.
And so those guys that we have now are those that's who we got, and so we coach them up and we get them to play at their best of their ability and like I said, that's just, those guys were really, really good football players for us, and we'll miss them. But this new crop that we got, we should be all right.
Yeah, and that's as a coach, I guess that's probably something exciting to see those kids, because at some point they were the new guys.
Yeah, right, 100%.
See what they turned into, and now that you've got some kids that are moving into those spots to be able to coach them, like you said, and see them grow. That's part of the fun of it.
Yeah, that's watching the growth from, even from 2 weeks ago to last night or to Friday night, and then we look 3 weeks down the road, and we look 5 weeks down the road, and we look 6 weeks down the road, and then hopefully 14, 15.
That's right. But that's the right idea.
See where we look like then.
So we got some players here, and they're on their phones, which is not a shock.
Yeah, they have no clue what we're talking about over
because
here.
that's just how it is. I mean, we were at a wedding on the front row. My wife takes a picture. All of my kids all on their phones.
Yeah,
on their phones. But that's okay. That's how we.
They're probably listening to the show, watching the show right here.
Multitasking. We got it.
And we'll have to talk
about
right here.
We're going to talk about Landon riding a bull at the Guthrie Rodeo last night.
That's nice.
But it was safe. It was padded.
Yeah.
It wasn't a real bull. But I don't want to put.
Said you better not.
I don't want to put any players on the spot, right? I don't want you to call out a favorite or anything like that. But you got to have a couple of guys. So Chris had a couple players on defense that we're willing to watch. Is there anyone in particular that you just want to have a breakout season, or anyone that you're watching going in from previous year into this year?
Well, I think the Seth Gilbert. I think he's got a chance to be a really good player for us this year. Kid that's just
outside linebacker.
Yeah, outside linebacker, could be safety, could be what you called the Roy spot. He could be multiple different places, but he's one of those kids we talk about that can play in the box a little bit, and he can also, just like we've done with Nick, he's played linebacker. We moved him to safety against Thomas and against Paul Huska. So I look for him to have a great season. We touched on Camden and Jackson, those guys. I don't know if you're going to have to help with those guys, and so I think those guys could what I like for them is we can stunt without having to stunt. I mean, those guys can come off the edge, those guys can do all that kind of stuff without us having to, and create pressure on the quarterback without us having to bring 6, 7, 8 guys, and then we can drop those guys into a pass coverage and stuff like that. And then also, run down backside zones and tackle quarterbacks and all that kind of stuff. Take on blocks, take on guard, take on fullbacks, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
All right, very good. Drew, got anything for Coach Wood?
Who on the schedule so far are you, I wouldn't say nervous, but who do you look as a challenge for you defensively that you're looking forward to the most?
I think Tonga will be better. Crescent will be good. I think those two teams are teams that are going to be better than they were last year. Watonga got a new coach, so guy from Texoma who always had us schemed up pretty good. And then Tonkawa, we go to Tonkawa. That'll be one of those places where I've never played before or coached before, so I'll always like going to new places. And they'll be they're a year in year out team that's pretty good. So I'm excited about going there.
Good.
That'll be fun.
Great question. Question. All right, Coach, we're going to let you off the hook. We've been going for a few minutes. You're more than welcome to stay as long as you can, but Coach Shaq said keep it short so you can get back to the kids. So
the philosophy that was, hey, let's just get the ball back last. That's, I think now we've kind of turned the tide there that says that we want to make stops. We want to stop people. We want people to go 3 and out. We want to fly to the football. We want to create turnovers. And at the end of the day, we want to play fast. We want to play physical, and that's what makes it fun. And so it's just not about giving it up. And that's what we try to say. We don't just give up. Don't give things up. We want to make an offense work for it. And this year, I think our philosophy is going to be we want to dictate what the offense does, not so much them dictate what we do. So, yeah, and defense travels. You can take it anywhere you want to go.
My favorite line.
All the way to
My favorite line.
That's right.
I remember even that Barnesdale game in the mud where,
Yeah, it doesn't matter what element. I mean, you talk about run game, you talk about pass game, all that kind of stuff, and the weather and all this stuff. Defense, you can take it anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Drew or Chris, anything before we let Coach Wood take off?
No, I think you kind of hit it on the head pretty good there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to see, average. Well, you told us last year you were going to average around 6 points a game.
Yeah, I think it was 7.
7? Okay.
Yeah.
What did we average last year? Remember?
He said 9. I think it may have been a little lower. Varsity.
So that you're shooting for 7 again, right?
Yeah.
We're if we can give up, if we can hold and limit the team to a touchdown, I think we should be okay.
I'm sorry, you're on the hook for special teams and when the JV comes in. I'm sorry.
Well, that's what we try to do, but it doesn't always work out like that.
I love it because I've talked about it. When the JV comes in, it's pretty much game over. Mm-hmm. JV comes in, you guys are out there still coaching as hard as you can, like it's the varsity out there, and I love it. It's because you have that pride. You don't want to let them
that's right. That's right, and that's their time. We may schedule 8 JV games, but only play 3 or 4 of them because other teams cancel on us.
Right.
They don't have enough players. They don't have this. They don't have that. they don't want to tear up the field because it rained or whatever.
Just scared.
Yeah, well, I won't say that.
Drew said it. Drew said it for you, Coach.
So.
Well, Coach Wood, we absolutely love your fire, your intensity, what you bring to Cashion Wildcat football. You're always making yourself available, and I know we'll be looking forward to seeing the Woods kids come up and play.
Yeah, hopefully. We got a 9-year-old and a 3-year-old, and a 3-year-old, he's crazy, so I'm not sure exactly what he's going to.
You got him hitting the tackling dummy?
Well, he likes to tackle me, so it's a war at our house a lot of the time.
Good.
So.
That's the way it should work.
But the problem is it's about 11:30 at night.
That's all right. Just throw some raw meat out there.
That's
right.
Get after it. That's right.
Well, Coach Wood, we absolutely love everything that you do for the school and everything that you're. Obviously we see you around. You're supporting everybody around here. You're a fantastic human being as well, and we appreciate you taking time and hopefully dropping a little bit of knowledge for our folks and all the great fans that are watching from Washington to Mexico. I don't know. We have international folks now, so
they're all over the place. Edmund, you got them all over.
But thank you, Coach Wood, very much.
Appreciate you guys.
Best of luck this season.
All right, thank you.
All right, that's Coach Tony Wood, defensive genius for the Cashion Wildcats. We're going to go quick timeout, and we'll get my man Coach Shackelford, one of the hottest coaches in the world, coming out. He's got his drink going right here. He's ready to go. But we'll hang tight. We'll be right back here in a sec.
Support your school's booster club and get your business in front of thousands of potential customers. Talk about a win-win. Advertising packages start on this streaming station for less than $10 a game. Call 405-726-0835 or email adam@squirtle.com right now for more information.
Storm season is coming, people, and your first choice for roofing needs should be Rhino Roofing. Locally owned and operated, the Rhino specializes in all types of repair and replacement. Large scale, traditional, modern, unique roof lines, they can do it all. Protect your home and your family with the specialized services of Rhino Roofing. Visit our Facebook page today and make an appointment. Rhino Roofing is all the hype for any roof type.
Everybody loves Todd's face.
I'm Todd Miller, and this is Grain and Grange, the coolest furniture store you've never heard of. Come see us.
All right, welcome back to Cashion Wildcat TV 2021 preseason kickoff show, and the Celebrity Fest continues as now we have the head coach of the defending state champions, Cashion Wildcats, Lynn Shackelford. Coach Shackelford, welcome to the set again.
Glad to be here.
For a guy who maybe texts me one-word responses and a guy that kind of nods at me, I'm absolutely blown away at your camera abilities, your ability to do an interview.
Well, isn't that the point of the text message, is to be,
brief and short?
Yeah,
that's
Otherwise,
true.
you'd be like Drew. You just call everybody.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, we are super pleased to have a defending state champion coach. We saw you with the Squirtle TV Andy Campbell interview. We see you on OK Preps TV. You were a celebrity before. Now you're on a even different level now that you won a state title.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Do you get him free? Do you get like a free coffee at Wildcat Nutrition? What's life like now as a state champion?
I haven't got a free.
Come by Legacy Insurance, I'll give you a free cup of coffee.
Okay, all right.
Free quote.
Yeah, no,
Free
nothing.
quotes.
Yeah,
Nothing?
free quote. Nothing.
Nothing.
No, just hey, good job.
No swag bags when you walk into.
Not yet. Not yet.
Maybe it's when you
That's
win 2 in a row, huh?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll have to work on that this year.
That's fine.
Well, we're super pleased to have you. What a great ambassador to not only Oklahoma coaching, obviously here in the community. We're super pleased. Obviously, a phenomenal season last year. I know Chris and Drew have a few questions for you. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, we absolutely loved what you did in 2019. I think you kind of were trying to be innovative, change your approach to that season. 2020, you had COVID. We absolutely loved your strategy, one game at a time. What was the biggest lesson that you learned after winning the state championship that you think you're going to carry over into this season?
I don't know that to say it didn't make a difference is probably a little bit of an understatement. But I even told the boys this after the game. I don't know if any of them listened to me or heard what I said, but I would hope that one game would never define me or them.
Right.
And we talk about that a lot. I mean, it's more about for me anyway, and I hope for them. It's always been more about the journey than it is, how that journey ends. Now, obviously, you want to win a state championship, and that's what we're all striving to do. But I would like to think that, last year's seniors walked out of here with, great memories, just like the seniors did 5 years before them, and hopefully 5 years from now will. So, I hope winning a state championship didn't change our approach from that. We're going to approach this season the same way and try to get better every week, and respect every opponent that we play. And if we're fortunate enough to be the last one standing at the end, then that'll be great. I talked about this a little bit after we won it. The strangest part to me was, as a coach, I've never done that before. We've never ended the season and not been sad and not had to treat it completely different than we did this year. So that was the biggest adjustment to me, was just waking up the next day and not having that feeling of we didn't accomplish everything we wanted to do. But once spring rolled around and we started getting guys back in the weight room and summer started going again,
New season.
It was kind of just old hat, and we'll just do what we've always done.
Well, I appreciate that. Chris, what do you have for Coach Shackelford?
I asked Coach Wood this earlier, the same thing. I'm going to kind of throw it at you. Every year y'all talk about every team is different.
Sure.
What is it about this team this year that you're excited about? Last year, it was exciting because you had some really big-time guys coming back. This year we have some, another set of really big-time guys coming back.
Yeah.
But you said it's different every year. What are you excited about this year's team?
Well, I think more than anything, there's a lot of new faces and new places, for lack of a better way to put it. We knew in 2019, just to go back to the last couple of years, we knew in 2019 we were going to be really good because we had guys that were, had started since they were freshmen and sophomores, and so they had a whole bunch of experience playing the same position. So we thought we had a chance to be pretty good. Last year we knew defensively we were going to be really good. We knew once our offensive line had a little bit of time with Coach Robertson and they got to be able to where they could play at a high level, that offensively we were going to be pretty good, just because, again, we had so many guys coming back. This year we have quite a few returners, especially on the offensive side of the ball, but defensively, we've got to replace guys that started 3 years and sometimes 4 years. And even though you're doing that with kids that are extremely capable, they haven't done it, and they haven't had their feet put to the fire yet. So for me, that's kind of the exciting part, is how are they going to react? Rejoice Christian is going to come to town Friday night, and they're really, really good, good enough to beat us for sure. So, getting to see them, in 3 practices from now, have to go out there and play at a high level is kind of exciting for me. And then to see how they respond after that, whether we win or we lose, just how they take Sunday's film and how they take the next Monday's practice, and can we put that game away, and can we focus on Perry, and then can we put that one away, and can we focus on Nico, because that's kind of the approach that we've always taken. But for some of these guys, they haven't been in that position yet. So that's the part for me that's always exciting, is you never know until you get going what it's going to be like.
Planning cleanup time, a lot of these kids to now, hey, it's your time to shine.
And you have to play, and you have to play at a high level. And I think I talked about this last year with you guys after one game. The expectation from the guys that have done it to the guys that haven't is you're going to have to do that, and you're going to have to play well. So that's nice that we have leadership like that.
Drew, got something for Coach?
Yeah, well, you talked about at the beginning kind of how you changed your approach the last couple of years. Would you say it was 18 years, 17 years so far?
Yeah, I think I've been here 17, been the head coach for 15 or 16. I don't know. It's been a long time.
So, I mean, obviously a lot of good teams in the last 17, 18 years, that kind
Yeah.
of a deal. What's been your biggest approach coming back year after year, going from a team? There's been years where teams have been really good, then there's been years that teams haven't been, as good as they would have liked to have been. What's your biggest approach going from a team kind of like what he touched on, that, a state championship team loaded with a lot of great kids, and then going to a team that a lot of kids that haven't played before, that kind of thing? Is there a mindset change or a mindset change going from team to team every year when you come back and it's a kind of a new group of guys?
Yeah, I think as a coach and as a staff, and that's one of the things we talk about a lot, is you kind of have to wipe the slate clean every year and don't dwell on it either way, whether you're, which we have,
whether good or bad.
Well, whether you're 2-8 or you're 16-0, I think you have to approach each year with a completely different mindset of, all right, well, we know pretty much that if we practice well, we're going to play pretty well on Fridays. So that's where we put a lot of our focus in. I tell you, the biggest thing for me that's changed in 17 years is when I first started coaching football here, it was me and Coach Robertson. That was it. And we had a couple guys that volunteered and helped, so we went from a 2-man staff to a 3-man staff and then a 4-man staff. And I don't know if you guys paid attention out there Friday night, but there were 10 football coaches out there on the football field. So for me, that's been my biggest adjustment, is trying to go from I got to have my hands in everything to we got really good coaches, so let's let them coach. Let's let Coach Wood do his job and let Coach Robertson do his job, and give them guys that can focus on specific areas and really treat our practices and our team and how we break opponents down a lot like you would if you were at a 5A school or a 4A school. So the community and in the program, and to see that is what's really rewarding, is to watch them build those relationships with kids, because Drew can probably tell you this, when we're going through it week to week, it's a lot easier to walk into that assistant coach's office and have a conversation than it is to walk into mine. Yeah. So to have that, where we have position coaches and we have those guys that can develop those relationships, and is extremely unique at a school our size.
Yeah, fantastic. Hey, Coach, we're going to pop the schedule up for next year.
Sure.
So let's take a look. I don't necessarily want to have to call out anyone, but, the things that we're going to see here for Cashion is that we're going to repeat what we did last year, just flip it on the out-of-district, right? So have Rejoice at home and Minko at home, and we'll be on the road at Perry and Thomas. That game, September 17th at Thomas, by a couple publications, was listed as definitely a game to watch. We also have a game on October 22nd. OBA has moved to 8-man football. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So that's vacant right now that you're working on.
I think I've got something in the works that we should know for sure on, hopefully tomorrow. Maybe with a school in Kansas.
Okay.
We can meet them halfway, but until we sign that contract and make everything official, I don't want to put it out there, because with 10,000 people watching tonight, it'll be all over.
Closer to 300.
Yeah,
but yeah.
it'll be all over everything. So
no, I appreciate that. Well, we won't go into districts. I think we're well aware of what we have in district, and I know that will even change again into next season, 2022. Right. But in the out of district, those first 4 games, any of them stand out for you? Anything that gets you fired up?
Well, like I said, I mean, we're playing Rejoice on Friday. We saw them this summer at team camp, and they looked a little different than they did.
Different in what sense? Personnel?
Well, yeah, they sometimes, some schools around the state have the ability to kind of change their personnel. They're fortunate enough to maybe share a district with a larger district.
Mm-hmm.
But
some of the largest cities in the state. Yeah.
So they look a little different, and I mean, Coach Marley does a great job, and those guys they're going to be extremely well coached.
They've had a long track record.
They've been good for a long time. Last year they were kind of down a little bit, and we weren't, and the game got a little bit lopsided. But it'll be a war on Friday with them for sure.
Yeah, they're Class 2A. Is that correct?
Yeah,
now?
They're Class 2A. Outside of that, I always love, playing Thomas and Minko. Their coaching staffs are really good. They're friends of ours. So anytime you can do that, I think that adds a little bit for us. And then, their traditional powers, I think Thomas is probably, if you rank state championships and wins and all that stuff, they're probably a top 5 or 6 team in Oklahoma history. So
absolutely.
And getting to go there and play there.
They have a nice facility, some turf field.
Yeah, they passed a bond.
They passed a bond,
turfed the field, and did all that stuff. So I don't think they've got everything quite finished yet, but it's the same field that that Coach Roof, coached on back in the 40s and 50s and 60s. So that'll be cool to go there and experience that. So I'm looking forward to that. But I think our district's got a chance to be pretty good. I think most of the teams in our district will be better than they were last year. So
yeah, I definitely see that with OCA for sure. With Tonga, Coach Wood mentioned, as well as Tonkawa and Crescent. Yeah. The team that we don't know much about is Hinton because we didn't see them last year.
Right.
But absolutely, you're exactly right. Upgrade across. Chris or Drew, anything in terms of anything else for Coach Shack as we got him here?
I just want to know, are we going to stack that preseason schedule next year like we did the last year?
Yeah, actually. We only get 3 non-district games next year because we have an 8-team district. But I went ahead and scheduled Rejoice and Pawhuska and Thomas. It should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Is the Pawhuska game going to be here or there?
It's there next year. We had to, when you get your district schedule, you kind of draw your schedule. So I think we had
just based on home and away.
Yeah, based on home and away and what each of us needed and what Rejoice needed. That was just kind of how it worked out.
Okay.
But Rejoice is going to come back here next year. So.
All right, very good, very good. In terms of players to watch, obviously we threw out a bunch of names.
Yeah.
And maybe instead of like necessarily a known name, is there somebody that maybe we haven't seen a whole lot that you're looking to see some additional production out of this year?
Preston Cotter came back out.
Okay.
And is going to play left tackle for us, and I really think that has we were pretty good up front last year, but I think we've got a chance to maybe even be better up front than we were last year. Other than that, it's a lot of the same guys that you've seen a lot of. I think Ben should have a really good year again because of what he has around him again, and he's really talented. So. I had somebody ask me the other day, I think it was Andy, how do you replace Caden and Brexton?
Yeah.
And, we don't ever look at it like that we got to replace these guys. We look at it as we got to figure out a way to get first downs and score touchdowns. And, some weeks maybe that means we run it 35 times, and some weeks maybe that means we throw it 35 times. So that's kind of how we approach it. And I think we've got guys in all of those areas that can – if we need to run it 40 times to win a football game, then, I think Nick can do that, and Max can do that, and Jake can do that. And if we need to throw it, 40 times, then we got plenty of receivers we can stick out there and sling the ball around. So, I'm excited just because, last year we knew Caden was going to be really good. We knew Brexton was going to be good. We knew Mason and Landon had a chance to be really good. And so just, now – knowing what we know and what we've got coming up and how those guys are going to fill in and what kind of years it's going to have, it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we know that we talked about Coach when we talked about DL and the offensive line. Those are things that are given. I think when we think about offense and putting up points, I think we feel pretty confident Coach Shack, I think, will be okay in terms of who you put in there. So it'll be a situation where
we've been okay for a while.
Yeah, I've been okay. I think it's an understatement. But Drew, anything for Coach Shack?
Well, you had mentioned the redistricting and then, packing the preseason schedule on teams that you either don't usually play or play a lot every year. When they redo the districts, does that make it more challenging for you or less challenging for you? Because, you go from playing the same team multiple years in a row, you kind of get used to their style, their coaching style, and the players that they have. Does it make your job more difficult not knowing kind of what to expect when they redo the districts and you have to play teams you maybe haven't played in a long time?
Well, yes, it does. The crazy thing about us is, most of the time our district changes quite a bit just because of where we're located and there's, not a lot of Class A schools around us. Next year it's pretty much the same. I don't remember exactly who it is. I mean, we lose OBA and Tonkawa and pick up like Christian Heritage and a couple other ones. But, Minko. The crazy thing about football and really just coaching in general is I think I've been the head coach for 15 or 16 years, and I don't know that there's a team. I think Coach Ward at Thomas either got hired the same year I did or maybe the year before. But he's the only one that's been at the same school that we play every now and then. So, they got Coach Fisher at Crescent's been there for a long time, but most of the time, coaches they're kind of nomads. They kind of travel around. So even though we might play the same team a whole bunch, they're just like Watonga. I think we've played Watonga, I'm pretty sure, every year but 2 since we've been 11-man, and they've had, I think, 5 different coaches. So they were Wishbone last year, and they're going to be spread this year. So
OCA has had the same coach for a while, hasn't he? But they seem to run a different offense almost.
Yeah, Coach Pyle's been there the whole time, but they've only been playing football for probably about 10 years.
Oh, okay.
All right, Coach. So we'll let you get out of here, but we'd be remiss if we didn't think about the Class A and the run next year. We a lot of folks, actually everyone is picking Cashion number 1.
Sure.
Based on again returning a lot of key players, etc. Obviously, nobody on this team is going to shy away from that ranking, nor the coaches. Who else do you feel like out there would be some teams to watch as we go through the 2021 season?
I think there's a handful. I think it's pretty normal in Class A where I don't think we've had a repeat champion since O'Keene in 2006 or 5 or something like that. So, I think Pawhuska will be really good again. We saw Morrison this summer at team camp. I think they've got a chance to be really good again. Ringling will figure out a way to be good. Outside of that, I think Gore could be a team that's pretty good. Moreland's supposed to be pretty good.
We saw them in playoffs. Was it 2 years ago? Or last? No, was it last?
I think it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Woodland last year. Yeah.
So and then there'll be somebody that kind of surprises you. But if you had to pick 4 that probably had a chance to win it, I would say we're probably in there with with some of those guys. And but Class A football's it's a forever long season.
Yeah,
and,
numbers.
Numbers play a role, and so just because you're good now doesn't mean you'll be good. And
nothing's ever promised.
In 3 months, yeah. So we'll kind of see how it shakes out. We'll worry about who else is good when we got to play them.
Hey, man, just get to districts or get to playoffs. So, Coach, we'd be remiss that you're also the athletic director here at Cashion, so that adds to your celebrity status, I'm sure.
Yeah, or my
so I know you brag about your coaches. We had a fantastic year last year with football, basketball making the state, baseball making the state, golf getting runner-up. Chess championship. I don't know if that falls under your realm. It may be under.
Sure, I'll take it.
Take credit.
Yeah, I'll take it. I got a football player that's on.
Coach Taylor, I think the girls team made it far in the playoffs as well. The softball team is getting better under Coach Chambers. They've got a fantastic year thus far. What's been kind of your secret with the athletic department and kind of having Sammy started the "All We Do Is Win" hashtag. So how is that? How's that moving along? Give us a secret here.
I think that's the secret. The secret is we got a superintendent that's really amazing. That gives us not only what we need but really what we want. It allows us to coach and hires us assistant coaches that are really good and just supports us like crazy. So it's kind of a perfect storm. I mean, you've got an amazing community that supports everything. You've got people that are moving here in droves because they want to be in a community like Cashion that is, cares about all of it. And that's the thing with Mr. Jackson. And I talked about this the other day on the Squirtle thing. He wants us to be the best in all of it.
Right.
If it's if we're showing hogs or if we're in the chess championship or we're
academic bowl,
vocal, choir, whatever, it doesn't matter, football, golf, that's his mindset is what do we need to do, what can I give you so that you can have the best possible path to be successful. So I think it kind of starts and stops there. I mean, if you want my honest opinion, and that's not a plug for my because he's my boss. I mean, he's just he's just such a passionate individual and wants Cashion to be so good. And when you're someone like me that's been here for not quite half my life, sadly enough, but that's been here for a long time. And, you talk to Coach Robertson, somebody that's been here for a long time. And, Drew's a third-generation Cashionite. He can probably attest to this too. I mean, when you've got a community that's like this, and you plug a superintendent in that's got that much passion about us being successful, it's kind of a perfect storm.
Very good. Excellent. Well stated. Well, Coach Shack, we appreciate you coming by. Drew or Chris, anything else before we let Coach go?
Nope. Let him go.
Well, hey, best of luck to you this season. We'd expect 15-0. So,
that'd be fine. I'll take it.
But we'll be there every step of the way. It's been fantastic. Chris and I talk about how blessed we are to be a part of this and to be a part of this journey with your team and with your players and your coaches. It's just been, Chris, just the funnest times. And now we got Drew Baker along for the ride.
Yeah, I guess they're going to tag me in on some of it. So.
Yeah, that's great. No, I tell anybody that'll listen, if you're, and I sound like, I said this the other day, I sound like a commercial for Squirtle, but, if with their platform, and you can find people like you guys that want to invest into it, and people can say what they want about whether it's Homer TV.
It is Homer TV, absolutely.
There's a 3-hour preview show or whatever. You still you're talking about kids, and you're promoting athletics, and you're promoting a community, and I can't find the negative to it. So if you guys are willing to do it and you want to invest this amount of time and effort and energy into it, I'll support you 1,000,000%.
Well, we appreciate it very much. Well, best of luck to you, Coach
Thank
Shack.
you.
Thanks
Appreciate
for coming
it.
on.
Yeah,
Always
you bet.
take care of us. We'll catch you this season, hopefully a couple times up in the press box.
Whatever you guys
after
want.
victories, of course. And so we appreciate you very much. I know sometimes there's moments where you can't come up, but
I'll do what I can.
I know you can. All right, appreciate you. Thanks so
Yep,
much, Coach
you
Shack.
bet.
Best of luck this season.
Thanks.
That's Coach Lynn Shackelford of the defending state champions, Class A football here. We'll go to a quick commercial. Be right back here on Cashion Wildcat TV. We've got some player interviews. You don't want to miss that. Drew Baker's got them lined up. They've been waiting here. They've already fired off their all their Twitter and everything else, Snapchat. What else you guys play? Clash Royale? I don't know. They're set. They've already done their 2v2. I know what's going on over there. So we'll get you going here. Thanks so much, you guys, for joining us. We appreciate you. Stay with us as we come back here to Cashion Wildcat TV.
Wiggins, Sewell, and Ogletree is dedicated to championing our clients through complicated and challenging litigations. We pride ourselves on a proven track record of success brought forth by fierce litigation skills. The lawyers and staff of our firm are dedicated to effective and personalized representation for every client who entrusts our service. Uncompromising integrity, unparalleled results. Call Wiggins, Sewell, and Ogletree, 405-232-1211. Gateway Realty is a mother-daughter team that has a heart for small-town life. Both Anita and Kelly were born and raised in Cashion and are still raising their families here. Their family homesteaded in Cashion in 1908, and it's been home ever since. Anita and Kelly know this town, love this town, and would love to help make this your home too. For a friendly face and trustworthy knowledge, call these hometown girls at 405-641-7388. Go Wildcats!
Cashion FBC is a church seeking to grow in Christ and our love for the body of Christ. With ministries from children to youth to adults, we strive to present the gospel in an engaging and meaningful way. Sunday school meets at 9:45 a.m. and worship starts at 11 a.m. Children and youth meet on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Please check our website at cashionfbc.org for more information, and we hope to see you this Sunday, located a half-mile east of Cashion.
Absolute Pools, Lawns, and Landscape is not your ordinary pool builder. From traditional to exotic and anything in between, our staff offers paramount quality and service through the entire design and build process. We provide service to the entire OKC metro and surrounding towns. So relax, knowing our team is wholeheartedly committed to building a trusting and lasting relationship with you. Visit us on Facebook or give us a call today at 405-285-9729. Absolute Pools, Lawns, and Landscape.
Stream like the pros with Squirtle Live. Find out more at squirtle.com/stream.
Dr. Matt Dieselhorst at Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics can help you get game day ready. Dr. Dieselhorst works with athletes of all ages, taking a coordinated approach to accelerate return to play and maximize athletic performance. His work with pros in sports training, injury prevention, bracing, functional rehabilitation, and imaging works seamlessly with his medical and surgical expertise. Get started by going to Dieselhorst Sports and Orthopedics. Let Dr. Matt Dieselhorst get you back on the field,
Ready?
backing all Oklahoma athletes on the field and off.
Hey, so we're back. I've got Ben and Landon here. Going to talk a little bit about the upcoming season. Ben, I saw your little cover. You got the center on the page there. How did that make you feel?
That surprised me, honestly.
Surprised you?
Yeah.
Okay, so coming up on the season, who are you looking forward to playing most on the schedule? Or who makes you nervous, or which game are you most excited for?
I'm excited for playing Rejoice.
Rejoice.
See how good we are.
What excites you about them? Do you think of it more as like a challenge, or?
Yeah, really a challenge because they were really good last year,
Mhm.
and see how good they are this year. See how good we are.
So as far as the off season, what was it like going from obviously last year a great season, and then what was it like leaving that season, kind of behind you and moving up to this season and kind of the work you got going in front of you, your senior year, that kind of a deal? What's the mindset going into that versus last year?
It's kind of like what Shaq said. You just gotta every new year, you just gotta play with the new players and see how everyone is, and it's gonna be different playing with all these new players, not having Caden Harold hand it off to you, But it's gonna be a fun year.
So obviously going into your senior year, like personal goals as far as going forward, you got anything set for yourself as far as personal goals that you want to do this season?
Not really.
Obviously play good. There you go.
Yeah, just play good.
Landon, who are you looking forward to playing?
Hopefully Pawhuska again. That'll be.
You want it again?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Speaking of that Pawhuska, I'm glad you brought that up. Last year, obviously, crazy game in Pawhuska. Were you nervous the whole time, or you play pretty calm, cool, and collected?
In halftime, everybody was kind of nervous because we were losing.
A little tight.
About the first time the whole season that we've been losing at halftime, so everybody was feeling it then.
So when you talked about, going into halftime, you guys were obviously down then. What was it like? Because obviously, first time in the season that you had been down like that. What was your mindset going into halftime, being down, having to come back out and compete and play and really kind of put the nose to the grindstone on that deal?
I mean, there was a lot of communication at halftime. Everybody was figuring out what they were doing wrong, and then we just stuck to the game plan, and it worked out.
Obviously, it worked out really good. Ben, you had a great game that game too. Everybody really did. But as far as the state championship game, what was your biggest takeaway from after that game was all said and done? What was your biggest takeaway from that you're bringing into this year? What did you learn? I guess what did you learn during the 16-0 season, state championship, going into a new season?
Don't take anything for granted because it'll end pretty quickly. And
Did it change a whole lot from, obviously you guys had to deal with the COVID year and everything being weird like that. Did it change kind of how you guys looked at, like Shaq said at the beginning of that year, you just take it game by game because you didn't know if you were going to be able to play the next week, that kind of a deal. Did it change your mindset as far as, looking forward to a season?
I mean, that's kind of what he's told us all the time. Just take every game one game at a time, practice by practice.
Switch to a little lighter note. So Caden Harrell obviously was kind of a team comedian type deal. Who's that on there now?
Joey.
Old Joey.
Mason.
Speaking of hitting hard, so Jacob Farrow, Caden Harrell, both crazy hard hitters. Is anybody hitting as hard as they are, taking their spot?
No.
Nowhere close?
No.
Who's the hardest that's hit you so far?
I haven't been hit.
Well,
Nobody hits me.
Haven't been hit?
Yeah.
What about you, Ben?
I haven't been hit.
God. You guys obviously need to do some better work over there. No, they don't want them to get hit. As far as practicing goes, I know in years past there's been, a fluctuation of numbers as far as kids on the team. Do you think it's a lot easier to simulate a game time situation and simulate practices when you have a lot more bodies out there, a lot more kids out there? Does it make it easier on you guys practice-wise as far as preparing for people to go, the more people that you're able to simulate and that kind of a thing?
Yeah, it gives us a better look, and plus it helps us out in the game because whenever they're going against us in practice, it's basically like game reps for them. So whenever we're tired, we can get people to come in and give us a break.
Huge deal. And Shaq also kind of mentioned there's 10 guys on the sidelines, coaches-wise, as far as, because for your position, you go to Shaq a lot to talk, about things you got to do different on the field. Same thing, kind of a deal. So as far as the coaches, does it make it easier on you having a whole bunch of different guys on the sidelines that you can go to, talk to, that kind of a deal as far as advice is what you can do better in games and practice and that kind of a thing?
Oh, yeah. Now, we have a quarterback coach this year.
Oh, there you
we've
go.
never had before, so it's kind of different
Kinda
to
nice.
have that.
Don't have to deal with Shaq as much like Matt did.
Yeah, I don't have to deal with Shaq every day.
But he's a little more calm than he used to be back in the day. He used to get a little angry sometimes at some of the deals. But who's gotten yelled at the most? Are you allowed to say so far?
Definitely him.
Andrew.
Probably.
Nah, it's definitely you.
So as far as kids that are coming up, obviously Shaq's had a lot of new faces, and a lot of things have to be moved around because, people graduate and that kind of stuff. Out of the freshman class that's coming in, who's somebody that just excites you that you're kind of excited to see play?
Caleb. He moved quarterback this year, and it's first year, and he's looking all right at it.
There you go. Well, he had mentioned some of the guys that just changed a whole lot. Who do you think is just that you've seen, obviously Ben being your senior year, over the last 4 years, who has, in your opinion, has just changed and grown the most as a player? I know we kind of talked about how kids change season to season, Camden getting bigger over the offseason, Joey, everybody else had. So for you, who was it that shocked you the most as far as that's still on your team that you've played with the whole time that's kind of changed the most and kind of come into it more?
Probably Camden, honestly. I mean, he's always been kind of bigger set, but now he got musclier too, and he's just really strong.
As far as the offensive deal goes, obviously things have to change because it's a new team. What is your goal as far as offense, and what is something that you guys either are going to be able to do better this year, or something new you're going to be able to do, or something that, because of personnel changes that you're not going to be able to do as well as last year, if anything?
I think we'll still be pretty balanced, and we're not going to take too much of a drop-off. I mean, we're not going to have Caden hand it off or Braxton to throw it to, but, we're not take too much of a drop-off.
Not bad at all, not bad at all. What about you? As far as offense goes, what it kind of scares you changing, or just kind of same
much.
deal?
Our guys are very athletic, and only two, huge pieces we're missing is them two. So.
We talked about the athletic stuff. Has the conditioning changed now that there's a track across the road?
A little bit. Off-season was kind of rough.
I heard that.
Hundreds on the track.
A little early morning jog on the old track. But as far, I know that Coach Robertson's had help with Steven in the weight room. Has that changed quite a bit since he's had more help there and a lot more, just people around the program?
Yeah, it's a lot more organized.
A lot more organized. Yeah. But as far as, obviously, Ben, you got the cover up here on the Oklahoma Vipe deal. Is there anything, that obviously you won't take everything for granted or anything for granted going into your senior year. Does your mindset change a little bit? Obviously going into your senior year, you've got one last year at Cashion. Is your mindset changed or kind of stayed the same going into that one, final year?
I'm just trying to keep everything the same, trying to keep it the same as I can, just, again, one game at a time.
I got it. So I think we got time for one more before we switch groups on there. As far as, obviously the schedule's changed quite a bit and the districts has kind of changed a little bit. And like Shaq said, a lot of the coaches are not the same that they were, that he's been here the whole time. What is the place that every time you see them on the schedule, the team that you're just like, I cannot absolutely wait to play them, that just look forward to every year?
Crescent.
Crescent?
Yep.
Crescent.
You going to beat them this year?
Yeah. We're talking to Shaq about scoring 100 points on them.
I'd love to see it. I'd absolutely love to see it. I would absolutely love to see it. That wouldn't make me sad at all, honestly. No, but I think we're going to rotate out. We got Joey and Nick coming up next. So thanks, guys, for answering some of the questions before we kick off the season next Friday against Rejoice, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll be a good game. Going to go to commercial? All right.
Christy Perry is a Cashion-based attorney providing clients in Oklahoma with trusted, experienced legal counsel regarding wills and trusts, bankruptcy, and other areas of law. Flexible scheduling is available to discuss your options, and your first consultation is free. If you need assistance regarding a legal matter, call your local Oklahoma licensed attorney, Christy Perry, at 918-373-0882.
At Maples Nixon Diesel Horse, we've helped a lot of people, and our goal was to treat each and every person like a friend. And as a friend, we've got your back always. We understand what you're going through. Being lawyers is what we do, but it's not all that we are. We care. We'll stand beside you throughout the entire legal process, not just as lawyers, but as your friends. We are Maples, Nix, and Dieselhorst, and we are here to help.
All right, so we're back. We changed groups out here. We got Nick Tabavi, Joey Wilson here. How's it going?
Going great.
Going all right. How was the off season compared to years past that you've been through? Coming off a state championship win, that kind of a deal.
Yeah, it was definitely a different atmosphere. I mean, we felt good, but we knew we had to get right back down to business, losing those guys from last year, and just had to hit the weight room hard and condition. That was the biggest thing.
I mean, for me, it was just trying to get some kids in the weight room that normally haven't been in the weight room.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the smaller kids, try to get them bigger.
So Shaq kind of had talked about it at the end of, he said it was kind of different. Usually ending a season, you're sad at the end of the game because you've lost or whatever else. Well, this year, ended on such a high note like that. What was that like compared to, like he said in years past, ending the season, a lot of times not how a lot of teams want to end it. So going into a season, being done, being excited, happy about it, all the hype from the deal, was that different to adjust to as far as, the usual end of the season kind of routine?
I mean, honestly, no. It was great, like, ending the season happy and with the guys that we enjoyed our memories and everything. But as soon as season got back around, we knew we had to get back down to business. It was just business as usual.
For me, I mean, I also play basketball, so I got out of football the next day. I was in the gym shooting the next day.
Yeah.
So,
but he had kind of talked about a lot of people that are doing dual sport deal whatsoever, and so a lot of those guys that you'll see on the football field, you see in other sports too. And talking about some of the teams that they play every year, like Thomas and that kind of a thing. In the upcoming schedule, I mean, there's a lot of teams on there that you guys hadn't played in a while or hadn't played before. So as far as the schedule, I know Ben and them could talk about Rejoice and everything else. Who on the schedule for you is just an exciting game that you're looking forward to, or do you think it'll be a challenge? Or
I think Rejoice is going to be our biggest challenge, but I honestly think Thomas is going to surprise us. I think a lot of us are sleeping on them again, and I think they're going to want some revenge and want to come hit us in the mouth.
I would say Thomas. And a game I'm looking forward to is Crescent because,
Yeah.
474 right there.
Oh, yeah.
And Shaq had mentioned, and Chris and Nima had kind of hit on it. You guys, obviously ranked really high as far as that goes. Is that almost like a confidence booster going into the season, or is that something you kind of just put at the wayside and try not to think about, or does that kind of affect your mindset going into the season, the rankings that they've put out there?
I think it holds us to a standard. I mean, when we're ranked number one, we kind of feel that we need to stay at that ranking. If we go any lower, it kind of comes at us like an insult.
I really don't pay attention to rankings. I'm just out there to play the game and win.
There you go. Kind of keep your mind less distracted that way. And talking about, the mindset being less distracted, that kind of a deal. Joey, obviously, your two older brothers played here. Nick, same deal. Jack talked about the hashtag, all we do is win, that kind of a thing. What's the mindset just going into every season, with the all we do is win? Is there's a standard almost that you hold yourselves to as a team going into? And Nick, you kind of talked about getting people in the weight room and that kind of a thing like that. Do you find that that's easier every year, harder every year, especially coming off of a state championship win and things like that? Do you find it harder or easier to kind of keep that standard going of keeping all we do is win going?
I don't know. I think as we're getting older, for me, it feels like it's getting harder. I mean, it feels like we have to become more and more like a leader and make sure we keep those younger guys in check. And, sometimes they don't listen, which brings me back to my freshman and sophomore days when I tried not to. But the standard just stays the same. Just always hold us to that not lose mindset and just try to win as much as possible.
Yeah. I mean, just even saying like, hey, we won state last year, let's go do it again. Like that's a way to get people more involved in what they're doing and try to be better every day. And
so as far as practice goes, I mean, I kind of touched on this already, but with having a lot of people there, being able to simulate things a lot more and that kind of deal, do you find it harder to, as far I know they try to simulate games as close as you can go in practice before you go into the week. Do you find it harder going into the game? Is it like, okay, this is kind of exactly like what we prepared for? Or do you find it harder in the game, like, oh, this is how it really is going against these guys, and because we weren't able to simulate it as much?
Well, sometimes like with a team like Pawnee, you can't simulate what they do with who we have. It's just not possible. But then you go against a team like Rejoice, who's going to spread it out a little bit more, air it out. It's a little bit easier to do.
No, I agree with that. I mean, Pawnee was not somebody that you could prepare for, and they didn't want us to. They kind of wanted to throw us in the deep end so we could sink or swim, and, I mean, we just kind of got knocked around a little bit, but at the same time had some fun doing it.
Yeah, that was a great game, too. And, Nick, you playing both sides of the ball, which one are you more excited for?
Well, yeah, I love defense. I've been playing defense since I got playing time sophomore year, but coming back to running back, it's a position I played in elementary. I haven't played it since then. I think it'll be fun to come do again.
And you talked about going from, running back like how last year you played a lot of tight end, did a lot of blocking, did a lot of the heavy lifting on that kind of the aspect of it. Was it harder for you to transition going from that role to running back and whatnot?
I think playing tight end really helped me become a running back because as a tight end I had to know all the calls for all the offensive blocking schemes, so it helped me be able to see where the holes are going to be before the ball is even snapped.
And Joey, you even got to kind of move around a little bit between you and South Hall. You guys had rotated when he was here and all that kind of stuff. Of course, it probably wasn't as hard of a transitional role that you had to deal with, and obviously you adjusted to it really good.
Yeah, no, I mean, with my older brother being the center and everything, it was always just kind of a role I wanted to fall into, and South Hall and Gunnar Simpson, those guys were always good leaders for me to help bring me along and help me get my my snaps together and blocks together. And those older guys always, just threw us around when we were younger until it molded us into the men we are today. But no, I'm happy for those guys teaching me be center and everything.
As far as you guys now being in that leadership role, who are some of the kids, if you can say or if you want to say, that kind of surprised you coming up that are freshmen that you're kind of looking forward to seeing what they're able to do? I know Shaq touched on it a little bit. Coach Wood touched on it a little bit. But
Max Higdon has been working at what we call monster back in our 3-3-5 defense. He's the one behind me right now, and it's been good seeing the progression he's made just in the week and a half of practice we've had, 2 weeks of practice we've had, of seeing him go from kind of scared to wanting to hit a little bit more.
My kid's Caden Seeley. He's a little lineman that he didn't know much about football but has come into it, and they threw him in at center, and every day after practice we'll go out and snap and get ready for it for the next day. And Ben will help us because he'll catch those snaps for us. And no, that kid, he's going to be something special. He likes to hit people.
Looking forward to, obviously you guys going into your senior year, that kind of a deal. Who's one of the guys that is in your senior class that you're just excited just to see show out their senior year?
Landon Gass. I'm ready to see that
Landon, get a shout out, Landon.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to see him do some magical things this year.
I'm excited to see Chase Ritter. I mean, he got a little playing time last year, and I'm ready to see him start. He's improved a lot going into this year, especially he got in the weight room a lot, got bigger, got stronger. So,
as far as the practicing and stuff goes, as we're going on, are we good? Okay. As far as the practicing and stuff, I know that a lot of things can change, when you just go to practicing, then you go to practicing in a scrimmage, then you go to practicing to the games. As far as this week has been kind of preparing for that scrimmage, what was practices like preparing just for the scrimmage against Pawnee?
Honestly, it was just they didn't really prepare us much. We were just trying to condition ourselves to be ready to go both sides and play those full quarter that we did. But, I thought I was going to be conditioned and ready for it, but when I got out there, I was gassed. But I'm definitely glad we did it.
I think just getting reps in for everyone, like some people in new positions, like I'm at running back, just getting those reps at different positions and offense and defense, both sides. Just that's the main thing we did.
They talked about, obviously, next week Rejoice Christian playing here. What are some of the goals that the coaches have kind of laid out and that you guys have laid out for yourselves as far as playing Rejoice when they come here? Obviously, Joey said that they're going to be pretty good, and Shaq obviously even said, that they could play really well and kind of be a handful. So what were some of the goals going into getting ready for them next week?
I don't want to let them score. It's going to be hard. That's a hard goal to reach, but, better said it hard than easy. And if we can keep them down and just keep our momentum up, I don't think there's going to be a team that can touch us this year.
I'm the same way. I get disappointed when someone scores on me. So, I like to have shutouts. So,
as far as just one last one before we go here, on a lighter note, in what way do you think that you're different than your brothers that played before? Attitude-wise or thereof.
Alex is small, so I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Peyton was he lacked the work ethic, and Brett was a little small as well. So just trying to fill the actual Wilson role.
Is it weird having Brett on the sidelines helping coach? Brett and Quentin?
I mean, I wouldn't say weird. I would say trying to keep my composure and not laugh all the time.
They're a fun time out there.
Yeah. No,
they make practice a little more fun.
Yeah, yeah. They help out, though, a lot.
Good deal. Well, excited to see you guys. Hopefully we'll be back broadcasting Saturday or Friday for the Rejoice game. Looking forward to it.
Yes, sir.
Cashion Shape Up Fitness is locally owned and operated with no contracts or sign-up fees. Our rates start at only $30 per month, and we have tanning available. Everything you need to work on your health and fitness. So contact Amber Lee to sign up today. 405-538-8248. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Cashion Shape Up Fitness. Have a pest problem? Call Rural Pest Solutions today. We offer as-needed services as well as a variety of treatment schedules. We're family-owned and operated, and we specialize in treating life's smallest problems: spiders, ants, roaches, termites, mice, and more. For both residential and commercial, we're ready to solve your pest problems today. So call Rural Pest Solutions in Cashion, 405-238-6565. Proud supporter of Wildcat Athletes.
All right, welcome back to Cashion Wildcat TV. I'm Nina Bobby, Chris Gibson, Drew Baker. Drew, fantastic job with the player interviews. That was awesome. We definitely have a wide variety of personalities.
Wide variety of personalities, just between the four that I talked to right there.
Yeah, and not a whole lot of love for the brothers. I was shocked. No. I guess I was not shocked, actually. And I know, in fact, I just texted Alex to make sure that he was watching, and hopefully the timing was good that he got to catch his brother call him small. You know, the fist fights that happen in the kitchen at our house are fantastic. You ought to. It's something that I probably could charge pay-per-view for. But Drew, great job.
But does who rules the roost though?
Oh, I do. I come in with a.
No, I figure Kate rules the roost.
In terms of children, yeah, she pretty much. I mean, she's a tough cookie too.
Probably Kate in the hierarchy.
But, you know, Alex tries to exude his alpha dominance at the house whenever he comes around, so it becomes quite nuclear, I should say.
We have to get a Squirtle live stream for one of those.
Yeah, I don't know. It might get pretty explicit. I don't know. A lot of curse words. Hey, nonetheless, but Drew, that was fantastic. I appreciate you doing that.
Love doing it.
You know, I think what you bring is that history and knowledge of the program and of the coaches, and you know a lot of these kids' brothers.
Yeah, I played with a lot of, like Joey's older brother was 3 years older than I was, and of course Alex, I played with him, and then I get to watch, you know, the other Bobby's going through.
Ben's brother Matt.
I played with Matt.
Like
so, it's cool to see. It's cool to see, you know, guys that I played with or I got to watch play and then come back and be able to watch their brothers and their siblings play. So it's really interesting, and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy watching those kids progress because, I mean, when I was playing with Matt, you know, 100 years ago, it seems like Ben was just an itty-bitty little scrawny kid. And so getting to watch him, you know, tote the rock and sling the rock on Fridays is really cool to see him.
Yeah, the brotherly, the family roots is amazing here. That's the great thing about Cashion that you see. You have, in fact, I think we have 3 sets of brothers on this team right now that are currently playing. I know Nick and Nathan Ababi, senior sophomore. You have Jake and Tommy Branson, junior sophomore. Who else? The twins. You have Kai and Seth. Who else am I missing?
That's it. I think that we were kind of went through them the other day, but I think
but that's fantastic. And you just mentioned 2-3 years removed from multiple kids playing, and it's just fun. Drew, in terms of preparing for this, you know, what was that like for you?
Preparing for the interviews,
yeah.
Well, I had a lot of those guys that I know pretty well, and so I just getting to talk to them, kind of get their feel for things. I asked them a lot of the same questions that I did tonight already, just kind of get their feel on the seasons. They presented themselves a lot more professionally now than they did over the time that I had asked them about it. But no, it was really cool. It's always interesting to me to get to see the players' goals and what they think about the season going, because obviously Coach Shack and Coach Wood and Coach Robertson and the other coach's staff is going to have, you know, the best plan that they can going into the season. So it's always nice to see what the players' goals are going into you know, the seasons, going into the games, and that kind of a deal. So it was kind of eye-opening to see their thoughts on it.
Yeah, you had your pick of a ton of kids, and I thought those 4 were pretty good moving forward. And Drew, we'll continue to lean on you through the course of the year as much as you want. Obviously, this is not a paid position, but we'll hopefully I'll give you my Chick-fil-A sandwich that I usually get. From this standpoint, we'll make sure that you're fed. Hey, we've been on for 2 hours and 11 minutes. That is
rolling through it.
It feels like 30 seconds. I mean, it's sheer entertainment, free of charge. We're going to break down. This is our last segment here. I'm going to throw up the schedule. And so, Chris, we'll start with you. Thoughts on the season, wins, losses, who do you see as the key games, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, last year when we went through that schedule, and I think I had us having 2 losses going into district play, and we rode through teams all the way through to the Pawhuska game. So I was way wrong, but
not way wrong. You're typically not off.
Here's what I like to look at is, I like to be realistic and say, okay, yeah, we did lose some really good players, but like Coach Shack said and Coach Wood said, we have, next man up. Let's prepare them to get those first downs, right, and touchdowns. And with the coaching staff that we have, and Joey and I think Nick were talking about the standard that they feel like they're held to. Even Maddox, my son, that's in 6th grade, he starts to feel it now. At 5th grade, he starts to feel it of, hey, Dad, I want to start working out because I want to be able to carry on the tradition that Cashion has. And so that's something that, these kids that are next man up feel. They're ready. It's their time to shine too. I say all that because – looking at this schedule, there are some teams that are going to be tough, like Christian Heritage, Minko, Perry. Perry's a bigger school. Thomas, Joey said it. A lot of people are saying Thomas is going to be down. Thomas is never down.
Never down. It's kind of like Cashion.
Every year they're always we use the term slept on. It's every year they're one of those teams that every year the people don't maybe give them as much credit as they need, and they always come back and end up a lot of times beating people that thought they had it in the bag.
Yeah.
I made a little list of
let's hear it. Let's see it.
The teams, and then who do they have. Rejoice Christian has junior quarterback Chance Wilson that he was a sophomore last year, and I remember him. He could run, could throw.
And he was growing in that game. That was their first game, too.
Yeah, that was his really first time. And he's going to be somebody to watch out for. It's one of the ones that I'm going to highlight in the before the game. Perry's got Caden Hall. He's a running back and strong safety that was a really good kid last year. Was a junior. He's a senior this year. Minko has the Hunter Malinak kid. He's going to be the quarterback. I think he's probably going to take the reins this year. Thomas, the Camden Billy kid. Everybody talked about big boy from
Aiden
Kelly. But Camden Billy, that dude was a year younger, but he impressed me just as much as Aiden Kelly. And he's going to be a kid from Thomas that a lot of people are going to be like, wow, And I mean,
he should get D1 looks.
Yeah, and then let's see. Rolling on to Watonga, Joe Jackson. Remember him? He had kind of moved over from running back to quarterback and let him take the reins last year, and he did a great job. I think
we were losing.
They drove right down our throat using him last year, and he's an impressive looking kid.
It'll be interesting to see what they do with him with their
new system.
New coach,
new system that they're going to have in
play.
I
think that coach is coming from Texoma.
Texoma,
Didn't they kind of throw the ball?
They did. They slung it around. Yeah, they spread him out.
You get him in some open space and try to get him. He's going to be a good one. And then Talkawal, remember the Dante Mendoza kid? It was just a huge kid. He's going to be an impressive offensive line, defensive line kid. Crescent's got Hunter Wilmoth, just a quick little, explosive player. So there's going to be some.
Well, you didn't mention OCA, and I'm just going to offer up. I know that they had a coaching change at offensive coordinator. They brought in a local guy who does national camps for quarterbacks, and I believe he's brought in some players with him as well.
Yeah, so that's why
they're not. It's not going to be double wing handed off at OCA. No. They're going to sling it, and they're going to have some players. So keep going, Chris.
But no, I mean that's just kind of ran through our schedule and some of the players that we're going to see, and it's not going to be easy. And last year we said that same thing. We kind of rolled through it, but I guarantee you, last year before the season, nobody thought we were going to just slice through it as easy as we did.
Yeah.
This year, it's not going to be as easy. There's a lot of these teams have gotten a lot better.
And they've seen us.
And they've seen us.
Second
they
year
know.
district with us,
And
yep.
how big is that target on our back now
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you've won the championship?
Yep.
You know, because they won. And one thing that if I'd have been talking to these kids, I'd have said, hey, how hungry were you guys last year that y'all made it to the state championship and lost? How hungry? Well, yeah, everybody said we're crazy. Like they were so ready to get back and win that championship. Now that they've won it, is that fire still there?
Yeah.
I mean, are we going to see that's just real? Like after you've won it and you've been there, are you going to let down, or are you going to push through and say I want to repeat? I mean, that's questions that we have that we're going to see real quick, because Rejoice Christian, from what the little bit of research that I've gotten to do, is there's going to be 3 or 4 kids that were not on that team last year that are going to be
more than that
game changers.
And they were. We saw them in team camp. We went up there. They had a camp. We were invited to it. We played at it.
Yeah.
And it was a talented team last year. It's even more talented this year.
It'll be really interesting to see how the kids, because a lot of times you don't have to, especially in the years past, you don't have to deal with a lot of adversity until you get further along into your season playing a lot better teams. It'll be interesting to see how this early on in the season, being the first real game, how those kids react to that much adversity that quick in the season.
Yeah, having some kids that, like we were talking about with Shaq, they may not have had any meaningful minutes.
Right.
Really. I mean, they've had a lot of minutes because it's been
blowout time.
80 to nothing game. I mean, it's 50-0 at halftime, so they got a lot of play time, but those minutes in reality didn't make much difference.
Yeah.
Now that it's 0-0 when the horn blows in the kickoff, and they're the next one out there.
Yeah.
How are they going to react?
All right, so Chris, now I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
You predicted a couple losses last year.
Yep.
I think, though, through the course of the year, I want to say you literally were like a half a point off of our games. And there was times I went back and rewatched a couple, and I was like floored of the score that you gave, and actually that ended up being the score. So this year, you look at the schedule. Going to have to make up that October 22nd game, but 10 games. I don't know if we play a team from Kansas, how that shows up on our record. So let's leave that one. Out of the 9 games that we have, what's Cashion going into playoffs?
Going into the playoffs, not counting because we don't know who that's going to be. I'll say we're 9-1.
9-1.
Yeah.
And
I said we're going to lose 2 games last year, and I was wrong. I proved me wrong.
Thankfully wrong, right?
Proved me wrong. I'm the biggest homer there is, and don't get me wrong, I want 14 or 15-0.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's going to be some questions, and I think the game that we may lose may be the very first game.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Drew, your thoughts in terms of the upcoming season?
As far as the upcoming season, I think when you kind of talked about the fire, from the last year's season, I think that'll still be there. I know the coaches will still be just as amped up for it, but I think you'll also get a lot of the kids that didn't get to either play as much in that game or that season, or kids that hadn't played at all. They're going to want to step up and prove their own selves during this season. So I don't think they'll have a problem putting that kind of behind them. I think that it's going to be good for them to have adversity at the very beginning and not have to wait till the end and actually have to see what you're made of towards the end of that deal. I think it'll be interesting to see how they play against Rejoice Christian, being the first game and them being as talented as Shaq thinks they are. The district deal, I think it'll be tough, but I don't think we'll have a problem with it. I know with Tonga, it'll be exciting to see what they do with their new coaching staff and, a lot of the players that Chris mentioned. So it'll be really interesting to see. I'm excited for it. I don't think that we'll have any major problems with it, but, time will tell on that deal.
So we're all predicting a winning record. We're all predicting a district championship, which would be, I don't know how many in a row for Cash. I think there was one year, maybe in 2018, did we lose to Crescent that year, or 2017?
2018, we got district runner-up.
District runner-up. So that was the year that Crescent went to the state championship and lost to Afton,
yes.
I believe.
Yes.
Okay. So 2018, so 19, 20. All right, so 2 in a row. And then prior to that, I think we had one.
Yeah, prior to that, I think we had.
I think it was 17 that they beat.
17. Was it 17? Okay.
I don't know. I've slept since then.
No, it was 17. That's right. 2018 was lost to Fairview. They were undefeated. That's right, in the playoffs. So.
And then I believe in either 16 or 17, we lost to Morrison at Morrison.
Okay.
And
that's right, when Matt Harmon was hurt.
Yes, Matt got hurt, and then so that was another year that that was one of those years that we ended up playing in the finals.
Yeah.
So it just. a lot of the times the district, it does matter, and nobody should sleep on that deal. But a lot of times, there's been a lot of teams that have been really good that have won their districts and ended up on a terrible side of a bracket, having to just play a battle after a battle every single week.
Well, with the odd year, this means that in the third round we'll be going to the east side. So however that works out for us, or would it be the
reset that and let us
flip a coin? Or how about we just flip a coin?
Yeah, let's flip a coin.
That's right. All right. So we're predicting a district championship for the Cashion football team and first place seeding in the playoffs. I don't believe the number one ranking is far off for the Cashion Wildcats, returning so many seniors, so many productive parts of the team, right? How do you go against a Ben Harmon, right? How do you do that? A kid that's, in 2 seasons is, 31-1, something ridiculous like that. So the idea is it would be really, really hard and foolish to think any different. If we think about playoffs and playoff contenders, Coach Shack mentioned Morrison, Pawhuska, Gore. Anybody else that you guys are looking at in terms of to make a run this year? Ringling, you mentioned.
Do you want me to give you my Final Four?
Let's do it.
All right, my Final Four.
Let's do it.
Which
hold up.
Pretty much.
Let me get my pen.
Pretty much.
I don't have my Sharpie with me.
Shackelford said. I put this on.
Mm-hmm.
I typed it out before I came up here.
Okay.
So Cashion, Ringling, Pawhuska, and Morrison. Are there going to be those 5? Depending on where everybody falls on the bracket and everything like that. But I think those 4 are going to be the ones to beat. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the teams down south, Gore and Elmore City,
Wayne.
There's going to be some of those teams that might surprise us, because here's the beauty of Class A football is you have a stud come in that can just carry your team. You can make it to the finals and win.
Right.
The kid from Afton.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. He had some parts around him, but that kid was another level.
Yep.
What was it? Amos.
Will Amos. Yep. And the year
just
with Crescent, that
him.
same year with Crescent, the Bowers kid.
Yep.
Just
because you got to look
run left, run right.
Amos, the year after he graduated, what did they? I think they won 1 game.
Yeah.
After he graduated.
Right.
So who knows? But those teams right there are going to be contenders all the way to the end, and I see those 4 kind of battling it out.
I think there'll be some teams that'll surprise you, like that game in Barnsdall 2 years ago.
Yep.
That was a war. Of course, the weather kind of played a factor in that deal. But I think there'll be some teams, especially towards the end of the season, that'll get some grit about them, and there'll be some teams that'll surprise you and put up a war of a fight that maybe some people won't think that they will.
Yeah, you can't just like you can't walk away from Cashion, you can't walk away from Ringling. You cannot count. Coach.
No, and in all the years past, no matter the skill that they think that they have on their team, they're extremely well coached, like Shaq said, and they always have an ability to make whatever they've got going work really well.
Yeah, they'll play defense. They'll knock you in the mouth, and I think Morrison is an increasingly valued pick, right, coming up. I think as we move through the year, I think you're going to see that they had a good run last year. I think they had a good camp. I think they had a good summer camp. The Pawhuska one for me is still kind of out in the open. I want to see, even though I know the bloodline is great with the Drummond family, I think that might be a deal where if they do make it, it's because they've improved through the course of the year. Hennessy's going to put up points.
Here's my thing with that team. You have Gilkey kid, and you have the Hurd kid.
Right.
You give them the ball, they're going to score points,
Yeah.
and then the defensive side of the ball is going to be solid with Hennessy as the.
I just think their loss last year. Anytime any of the teams that were contenders in the last probably 5 or 6 years have usually gotten beaten out late in the playoffs, and they come back the next year just even more hungry for it than the year before. So any of those teams that got beat out late in the playoffs last year, like Pawhuska we were talking about, they're going to come back and they're going to play for blood on that kind of a deal.
Yeah, because I'm not sure is the Drummond kid, is he a sophomore or junior?
He'll be a junior.
He'll be a junior.
I think so.
But
yeah.
if he can,
I think
get the ball in the hands of one of those 2 kids. The Hurd kid is. Gilkey kid is going to OSU. I think he's already signed.
The wide receiver. Yeah.
The Hurd kid is. I watched him last year. I watched the film on them. He's impressive.
In fact, I think he's the better player of the 2, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of potential with Gilkey. Maybe that he's a track guy and things like that. But in terms of football, and this is not a slight on Gilkey at all. The kid's absolutely legit. Absolutely legit. And definitely just like you in awe when we watch film. But I just like the Hurd kid from a football perspective in terms of what he brings. All right, so let's break it down. So we've got a championship game coming up, hopefully for Cashion down the road, 15-0, maybe 14-1, maybe if you follow Chris's. We will be there every step of the way, which includes this Friday, Cashion versus Rejoice Christian. We'll be there live. Chris and I, along hopefully with Drew, will have a pregame. We'll have, like we always do, we'll break it down. We'll have a little bit more facts and stats. It'll be on CWTV.
We'll get Lane Broadman on the horn with his stat book.
We'll get it going. We definitely want to make sure, and we got this, hey man, this is what happens is we get stuff on the fly. This is from Kale. Just want to remind everyone about the Cashion Alumni Football Legends Night that we're hosting on September 10th against Minco. So if you go back to the schedule, that'll be the third game, September 10th. It'll be a home game, the second home game. We'll have that going for you where, again, we'll be hosting that Alumni Football Legends Night. We'd like all Cashion football players to come back and celebrate with us. We'll also be honoring it'll be the 40-year anniversary of the 1981 state championship team. We got a few folks still around here for that. Yeah. Love to see that. So for more information, please contact Coach Cale Cochran by Twitter, Facebook, or email. You guys know Cale. Everybody knows Cale. Reach out to him. Let him know if you're a former player. We definitely would love to have you come by to help celebrate the team. Yes, on what's that?
Is it August 27th?
August 27th is Rejoice. It says here that it'll be the September 10th against Minco.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we're at. Again, we're live and flying by the seat of our pants. But we'll have that game. And then if in any game that we can broadcast, Chris and I and Drew will be there. I'll be lugging all the equipment. We're going to make a shout-out to Mark Parrott, to Gage Beddick, and to Colton Niemeyer, our 3 cameramen this year. We're looking to get things growing. We'll obviously have lessons with Lane, and we'll have a conversation. We're getting more mics, so Drew, you're welcome. Any game, definitely come by. But we're super pleased and blessed. Again, it's as Coach Shack said, it starts with Sammy Jackson, his vision. We appreciate Coach Shack and Coach Hardaway, our sponsors, Mrs. Carnes, that's getting into the act as well in terms of the multimedia. Hey, before we let it go, Drew, any last thoughts or parting words?
No, I mean, it's just I have a really good feeling about this season. I think it's going to be a really exciting year, especially coming off the heat from last year. I'm really excited, like I said a couple times, for that Rejoice game that Shaq said should be a really good game. Yep. I'm really excited to see that just right out of the gate, to see how the kids kind of deal with that and play against a really good opponent. So I think it'll be a really good year for all of them, and I'm kind of excited for it.
All right, fantastic, Chris.
I'm excited. I mean, it's football season. It's here, but we touched on it. Shaq touched on it a little bit. The Squirtle platform that we have is awesome, and it's awesome that we get to get up here and talk a little football and be a little bit apart. But the fact that we get to bring some, stock shows, band, football, basketball, to highlight the kids of this community and highlight their just hard work and everything they put into getting better and representing Cashion is something that I take pride in, and I love being able to do that for the kids and shine that spotlight on them, because they're the reason that we're here, and that's the reason that we want to be better is for them, and I love it. And now it's football season, and this is my favorite part of the year. Don't get me wrong, I like the stock shows and I like basketball and baseball, but football is I love football and just how the whole community comes together.
I think we're all football first people. It's okay. No shot to Coach Hardaway or Coach Taylor, or Coach Mounts or Coach Chambers, but that's kind of, it's all right to have a passion. We obviously love, and you're right. We had I think 150 new kids come into Cashion this year. Did you know that? That's crazy.
Yeah, we had
but you know what? When you come to Cashion, right, it's an investment. You just can't roll out and come to Cashion. No transfers.
You can't be half in.
You can't be in. You gotta build a house. You gotta buy some land. You gotta go find somewhere in town, and you're here. It's not like you're in the middle of some metropolitan area. You're here. You're vested. You've made part, and I think that's part of it. People are like, hey, whether I have roots here that are 100 years or 2 years or brand new, you're vested. We saw that at the watermelon feed. We saw tons and tons of kids, everyone running around, and there is something magical that's happening here in Cashion. I don't know, a lot of us can explain, but it's something that we can kind of sense and see, and the product is, the results on the field, in the classroom. $2 million in scholarships, I think, given out annually to Cashion students, a class of 50 kids. So it's just, it is amazing. Did we have something from Carrie on that date? Were we right on that date?
That was the date.
Are we good? Is September 10th? Is it September 10th or August 27th?
The graphic was wrong, and the date of the first game is...
Well, the date of the first game is August 27th. I was just reading the text. It said the night was September 10th was the...
Yeah, September 10th is the Legends night against Minko.
All right, so Minko. So
the third game.
So come to all the games. If you're a former player, come. We'd love to have you. Swing by. But again, I think we're confirmed that Cale offered up.
Oh, he was talking about the graphic you had for the...
for the game itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, well.
All right. Oh, it says August 25th. Yes, my bad. So
duly noted.
We'll get that fixed. Hey, it's a pro bonum.
And that's what I love. Another thing I love about somebody's going to watch and going to let us know.
Let us know. And we check the egos at the door. Absolutely. Tell us what's going on. If I'm too loud or Chris is too scratchy, you got to let us know. The camera's not right. Tommy's we've got, maybe Mark Parrott's falling asleep up in the press box, whatever. You got to let us know. We certainly will take it because we want the best. And we had instant replay last year.
We're going to work on
We're going to work on that. We're going to continue to work on our graphics as we, try to improve the production. Again, 200,000 views. We're looking to break that in 20. And Drew, you're going to do it. You're going to bring all the females to watch.
Oh, I don't know about all that.
Yeah, Bubba. Get all those girls from Stillwater to check in on Cashion Wildcats TV. Maybe you can bring your pet dog. What's his name?
Blue.
Bring him along every once in a while.
Nowadays in my picture.
He looks like a hog.
Yeah. He just kind of melted on me when I was holding him. He may or may not get overfed. But.
That's okay. It's good to be a dog. But we appreciate you guys joining us. We're going to have a fantastic year, football, basketball. We still have softball. Coach Chambers, we're going to have 2 games on broadcasted tomorrow against Morrison, and then Tuesday against maybe OCA. I can't remember, but we'll have those games. So it's just a fantastic time to be a part of Cashion, and we're blessed to be a part of this with CWTV. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. We had over 300 folks, I think, which is pretty good on a Sunday night. We'll probably have a few more watching again, going back and watching because maybe they missed. Shout out to all of our great sponsors, and we appreciate you guys being a part of this. So for my man Drew Baker, Chris Gibson, Maddox, all the coaches and players, we appreciate you guys joining us here. Catch us live Friday night for pregame as we lead into Rejoice Christian. So with that, go Cats, and God bless.